Well, hello and welcome one and all to the Varsity Esports STEM League that is VESL. We're going to be covering some Call of Duty action today. As always, I am Captain Atsuka, joined on the desk by none other than Seymour. Seymour, how are we feeling on this wonderful, wonderful day?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's a beautiful day today. You know, I got to go outside. Now I get to sit down and cast some Call of Duty. It doesn't get better than that.
I mean, I wouldn't know what it looks like outside. I haven't been outside. I came here to play and watch some Call of Duty, okay? I don't even know what the weather's like outside right now. Regardless, we are about to get things started as we do have our first matchup of the day. Keep in mind, it's going to be quite of a doozy of a day. We got the quarterfinals, the semis, the grands, and speaking of grands, it's going to just be some grand tier gameplay here. Again, we got some pretty, let's just say, S-tier talent here today.
Of course, we always do in VESL, and that's what I love. You know, from season to season, every single time I sit on the desk, the players, they only keep on getting better, and the competition just continues to get tighter. I think for Call of Duty today, one thing that's going to be on my mind, who can take down these NYSL superstars? Because last time I was sitting here casting Call of Duty for VESL, it was non-stop blowouts from Swagcheck and his crew. So today, that's what I'm looking for. Who can take down the champs? Who can put them to the test today at Soka?
Yeah, I mean, that really is the question, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to answer the question, and we got plenty of games to get it done in as well. If I'm not mistaken, we should have our first game ready to go, and our map picks and bans have come in as well. It looks like we're going to be playing a Subbase as well. I mean, starting things off for Hardpoint, and then for S&D, we're going to be going to Highrise, and for the last matchup, the decider, if we make it to 3, is going to be Control on Highrise as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one for sure at Soka, because when you look at the map pool in general, your assault rifle player is going to be having a field day, especially when it comes down to that Subbase map number 1. Yeah, with the double dose of Highrise, you do have a little bit of a mixes there with the submachine guns able to get into some playmaking potential, and you know that's what you look for, especially in the search and destroy. The Highrise control, I think you can get away from running that triple AR setup a little bit more, but it's going to be very prominent when it comes down to if you can get to that map number 3, making that adaptations over and towards map number 2. If your ARs aren't so hot, maybe your SMGs can get going, but Subbase, hardpoint, assault rifles, that's all you're going to be looking at really here. Who can dominate that high ground, who can, you know, slay out effectively, force those spawns on the other side, and just lock down those money hills, which we non-stop see inside of this map.
Yeah, and you know what? I gotta say, these people here, these competitors, they're lucky I'm not in charge, because if I were in charge, in order to win on Highrise, you would have to 360 off the crane. If you didn't 360
the way it goes
off the crane and find an elimination, then you wouldn't get the win. That has to be like a prerequisite for me. So again, competitors, you're lucky that VESL is ahead of things, and they know how to do things professionally. They know how to do things competitively, because if it were up to me, it'd be a lot more tomfoolery.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's the way it goes. It's from day one. You gotta snipe. People these days, kids these days, it's so good. They're scared of the snipers. They want to GA that. They want to get it out of there. They don't want to have to deal with the one-shot potential. I mean, don't get me wrong. Snipers are broken in this game, and it is very a hot take. It is very easy to snipe these days compared to back in the day, for sure. But they're afraid. You know, Highrise gets brought into the pool, and immediately snipers are gone. They're scared of it.
Yeah, you know, again, just because, you know, us old heads, you know, we're talking like back in my day, they weren't as broken. Back in our day, we had the intervention, which was literally the sniper rifle of its day and age. Modern Warfare 2 2009, that's what we're talking about. It was all about the intervention. Maybe you could party with the 50 cal. Partying with the 50 cal was pretty fun for its time as well. But, you know, it's a new day and age. So again, you know, times change, and we just got to change right along with it. And you know what? I'm all here for it, because back then we didn't have esports, and now we do.
Well, I think we did. You know, back in MW2, we did. It was growing.
It was, but not to this extent. You know, it was the faintest pulse of a life.
Some may say the golden days, but the golden days may have yet to come when it comes to Call of Duty esports. No, it's fun for sure to see the way that things have changed, especially with Highrise into it. A lot of teams, you know, it is one of those maps, especially for Control, that people put up with. You know, in comparison to the Karachi, in comparison to the Invasion, when you have to deal with the Karachi, you're dealing with, you know, who's going to win that defensive round. It's very easy to win offensive rounds on the Karachi control. And then the invasion, it's who's going to win the offensive side, because it's very easy to lock things down from the defense. So when you get that high-rise control into the mix, it's kind of a little bit of a middle ground where, you know, the offense does have their chance. You know, defense is definitely going to be the more favored side when it comes down to that third game mode. But I think high-rise is a good mix to get for that map number 3 if it's needed in this best of 3. But to see it come through for a search and destroy, I'm a little bit surprised, because, you know, these days you have your Rio searches, you have, you know, the ability to shake things up with a 6-star, as they've kind of brought in some of the DLC maps to the map rotation here. Whether or not the players or the here in VESL have that, you know, practice on maps like 6-star, like Vista or like Rio, is, you know, up to them. It has been, you know, a couple of seasons since they've been added, but to get such a traditional map pool, you know, you expect these players to be very practiced on it. For Subbase, like I said, as we jump in at Soka, pay attention to your assault rifles.
Oh, absolutely. And you see, I absolutely love this map. This is one thing that I wanted to start off, because again, you know, Highrise is so iconic and it's so fun. That being said, competitive, looking from a competitive standpoint, Subbase is a great place to start things off here on Hardpoint. Like, when it comes to Hardpoint, I just love playing on Subbase. And for those that may or may not know, you know, Subbase is a map for Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009. So again, this is harping back to a lot of us old heads as well that have been in Call of Duty for a very long time.
It really is. And I saw for a second that somebody had the Wasp or the Swarm out as one of their SMGs. Something that, you know, when Call of Duty implemented the rule of adding a couple of guns into the meta for at least ranked play, we saw people, you know, lead over towards the Swarm as an SMG. It's very good at range. It's very good up close. It packs a little bit of a punch in it for such a little gun, but you will be seeing the rifle at least make a few waves here. It's going to be a quick 3 down, and is going to be a break early for P2 rotations. Nooper and looking to turn this into a money hill. They have to set up into the P2 window. They have to worry about the oncoming traffic.
Like, am I the only one who gets reminded of the ACR whenever I look at the MCW? Like, I'm just looking at the recoil, and it looks like it's non-existent a lot of the times. It just looks like an absolute hit scan.
It's the way it was modeled after. It is the ACR. And when they were kind of looking into kind of marketing this game, looking into bringing the players in with the 2009 maps, they brought the ACR, and that's what MCW is supposed to be that at Soka. So this is a little bit of a throwback.
Yep, and I'm all here for it, as now you can see it is going to be Jabrinki that's going to be taking an early lead here, and they're doing a pretty good job of, you know, getting these captures. Again, this is a pretty hot contested area. You know, being able to take it is one thing, being able to hold it is something entirely different, and right now Jabrinki have managed to do both.
Yeah, they get the 79-19 heading into P3, where P3 isn't an easy hill to hold when it comes down to locking down these spawns. It is going to be on a thread's needle, just trying to hold that back spawn area. Xavier from the top through snow is going to open things up. Alex looking for 5 in a row. He's 9-1, having himself a field day with the MCW in hand, and already Newburn have lost the spawns. No, they're going to gain the spawns as we get the names flipped. Alex is on 7 in a row. The cruise missile is there. The Renetti is beaming, and looks like Newburn are in full control of the Subbase.
Yeah, again, we were able to switch those names up, and it's a good thing, too. I automatically was giving the dub to Jabrinki because I like saying their name so much. I'll be willing to admit that.
Doesn't seem like it's going to be as automatic as you would think. So down what seems like about 70 points heading into the 4th hill. Again, this is one that you're hoping to see these players fight for early on as you get Newburn to spawn up on the opposite side of the map. They were going to be the first ones there. So this is some scary sights to see at Soka for the side of Jabrinki, because now they're going to have to cross what we call in Subbase no man's land. It's where the ARs have their paradise up top of AC, and it's really difficult to break this P4 hill if you don't take this player JD off of his power position.
Yeah, that was really funny. I mean, I got to hark back to one of the plays that happened on the previous hardpoint. You know, you know, Pro had jumped over Alex, cleaned over them, and didn't even realize that they were going, you know, prone there. And I don't know how they didn't see them. But regardless, we're on to the next hardpoint. And again, that if it was up to me, that would be a highlight because it was just so funny. But you can see already, it is going to be Jabrinki starting to answer back a little bit here. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still have a ways to go, but you know, any points are better than no points.
The issue is, every single time they find themselves in the hill, it's only 10 seconds at a time, and that's not going to net you a win. on a map like Subbase, you have to look for that height. You have to start seeing those ARs get the power position on the rotations, be the first ones to the hill, set up as a team, and hopefully slay out. It is a one-sided affair when it comes down to Noober, and they're lighting up that kill feed, and they are dominating Jabrinki right now, looking for another break to P5 to round out their first set of rotations, but Ryomen gonna open up with 2 kills to slow them down as Alex falling is gonna be 3 off the respawn.
Yeah, and now you can see starting to make a good amount of points here. Jabrinki, again, like you were saying, you know, getting that 10 points at a time isn't going to cut it. But now they actually made a significant dent into the point differential. Now they're about, let's say, 70 points, you know, away from being able to equalize. And, you know, if they are able to take control of the full hard point, then, you know, they're going to be able to make that comeback. But now you can see Newburn starting to get in their last second points as finally Jabrinki managed to get their way back onto the hard point.
Striker in hand for Icy. Nice shots onto Xavier. 10 seconds looking to go the way of Jabrinki. Again, like you said, just chipping away at this lead. Nobody on rotation just yet from the side of Jabrinki, but they're looking to cross out into the open. Alex is going to cut down the first one, traded out by Pachi, and through Surfer's Xavier. Getting the first set of time here. Surfer control for Newburn should give them a good setup. Only one person's looking to break this, and it's going to be player number 1, Ryomen, through tunnel.
Oh, and nearly being able to hold on to it there. But again, that was a great read coming from Ryomen. And now they force their way onto site. And once again, you can see they're starting to get these more elongated controls as they are continuing to harp at this lead. And now what was once a 70-point game is now down to 60, which is a small improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. And right when I say that, Newburn find their way back onto the hard point.
It just seems like the slaying is where Jabrinki just cannot keep up to pace. With Newburn, they have given themselves a little bit of a winner's advantage when it comes down to the point differential, and they're fighting for the scrap time. They're fighting for the new initial, and all together, Newburn just have to focus on one thing, and that's just keeping this lead intact. Over towards P2. Again, Jabrinki, quite like the first set of rotations at Soka, they're going to be the first ones at this hard point to set up. They're even going to shut down the player looking to get in for that initial time. So this is a good look for Jabrinki with the back spawns as well. They can reinforce this hill and get a good chunk out of it.
And let's see if they're going to be able to hold on to it. Remember, the last time Newburn were here, this is where they got their monumental lead. They came in with a very quick retake, and then they were able to hold it for nearly the entire time. So again, it's really going to be up to Jabrinki to try and not allow history to repeat itself here on this next capture.
80 finessing around, Mosey wins it, and that's still Jabrinki coming out with the majority here. Still 30 seconds to fight for, and Newburn don't want to give it up. Xavier slowly opens it up with the striker, beats out Ryomen. He's going to open up the floodgates for the rest. The stun lands, hit fire around the corner, in behind it's Xavier. Looking to win things out for the team, but Jabrinki's still getting time. 10 seconds is only what Newburn get at the end of things. And in turns, they flip these spawns. Jabrinki have a chance to change this lead.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, this was a huge take right here just on this last hard point, and now it's already going to the other. And again, you got to keep in mind at this point, at one point or another, this was at a 70-point spread, and now they have brought it back to within 30 as this next hard point is underway. And you can already see Xavier and their teammate there that has just been eliminated, ID. You know, they're already finding themselves on the receiving end of a lot of this damage. Like you had mentioned earlier, it seemed like the slaying was going one way, but now looks like Jabrinki is returning the favor.
And Jabrinki, it just took him a second. It's so good to get back into this game, to get warm on the sticks. Patchy now 21 and 13 on 3 in a row, trying to finesse around the doorway. Alex calls in the cruise missile, and it's a double team kill. They still don't have the spawns in the back, so all the time for Jabrinki. We're going to see a lead change for what seems like the first time on this Subbase since P1 in the first set of rotations. Yes, Newburn, they have the rotation over towards New. They will be able to set up for the top, but Patchy just wants to slide in through the front. Won't find the kills, but Ryomen's there for 2. And now things get a little bit chaotic with the spawns in the back. Not going to be solidified. Mosey's going to dive right in.
Yep, and this is where things are going to get really litty in this city. I mean, this is about to go down. This is a complete game changer here. And right now, like you had mentioned, you know, this is going to be a massive lead swap for Jabrinki, as now they managed to get a nearly 10-point lead, as they are going to be setting up here for Newburn. They're able to get the trophies out, and they are trying to maintain the lead that they managed to pretty much hold on to this entire game one.
Yeah, that's what it's all about at Soka. You know, it's no longer winner's advantage. It's survival for Newburn. Jabrinki They've clawed their way back. Yeah, you don't want to give up this last 20 seconds, but you still have a chance to rotate over towards P5, get a good setup, and lock down a majority of that time. And it's a winnable hill as well. So I want to see Jabrinki put all their eggs into this basket. They're going to take the player off the hard point to get both of them as well. But they're losing the race over towards P5. Player number 6 is going to be the first one there. JD, can he win things out for New Bern?
I mean, it's definitely starting to look that way, but when you look at the clock, I mean, you still got over 3 minutes. That's still plenty of time. You know, plenty of time for Jabrinki to try and make a comeback here, but I gotta tell you, New Bern, they are taking over tank control right now, and they are just looking really strong, but hold the phone. You can already see the retake gonna be on its way in.
Only 10 seconds. Jabrinki have to make fast work. JD still soaking up that time inside the hill. It's all New Bern in the feed. JD looking for the nail in the coffin, and that just might be it. Vicious kills off Mosey. Nobody's able to touch. And that's a New Bern win on the Subbase hardpoint. 250 to about 195. Dominant through the first set. Well, it's shaky into the second set of Soka, but towards the end, they just looked like they were dominant when it came down to that slaying.
Yeah, you know, I was trying to give Jabrinki the benefit of the doubt because there were a lot of times still remaining on the clock, right? So again, they could take one control point after the other, but at the end of the day, New Bern, they were just out there and they were fragging. I mean, my goodness. I mean, you're looking at the KD ratios here, and it was just looking nearly one-sided. Not completely, but just a little into the favor of New Bern. You know, they came out, they slayed, they conquered, and especially on that last hill, they were able to contend, and they were able to confirm their win there in game number 1.
Yeah, a lot of it came down to, you know, like I kind of was highlighting into it, something that I wanted to keep my eyes on, the AR presence that we saw from New Bern, especially in the first set of rotations. You had Alex towards the end. I mean, he dropped 30 and 14 with almost 5K damage for his team. That alone for the MCW is a job well done when you're trying to dominate the rotations, trying to dominate that high ground presence on a map like Subbase. Alex is all you need there for New Bern, especially when you have a player like Xavier going 21 and 14 with a striker in your hand. I thought we'd be following the GAs, only seeing MCWs and rivals, but we're getting strikers out here. We're getting swarms out here. I don't know what we're going to be seeing in the search and destroy, but if we're going to continue to see that striker, it is not easy for MCWs to battle against those strikers at range. So I'm hoping to see at least the Jabrinki we got in the second set of rotations in that search and destroy, because, you know, Pachi went 21 and 9 or 23 and 19, but he's going to need help from the rest of the team.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at the stat sheet there, because not only are we looking, you know, about the KD ratio, we're looking at the non-traded eliminations. And to me, that speaks volumes. And again, that's Alex there getting 22 non-traded eliminations. That is sick. But at the same time, like you were mentioned, Pachi, they managed to come through with 18 non-traded out of the 23. Out of the 23 eliminations, they got 18 of them were non-traded. And, you know, that's a ratio that I'm looking at as well. Not just your KD, which is important, but at the same time, I want to see your traded eliminations to non-traded elimination ratio. To me, that speaks, you know, volumes as well. And right now, of course, the top two are going to be Alex, and they're going to be Pachi or Paki or what. You know. Again, correct me, because again, you know, I love being corrected. I love knowing these players' names, but if for whatever reason I'm not getting it right, by all means, roast me in the chat just for fun.
I think Pachi's right. I think we're right on that one. I think
sounds right.
I think, you know, I would like a Pachimari, like, you know, it's like it just seems like that's the way you would have to say it.
No, it feels right to me. And you know what else feels right? Highrise. There's never been a time where Highrise didn't feel right. Question, is that gas tank still explodable because it was in 2009? As
of today, it is no longer explodable from the gas tanks. So that was something that was a big issue for team killing on this map. So that's going to be something that's a little bit different this time.
That's what made it fun.
Take a look at this from the side of Jabrinki. They're having a fantastic attack, and Ryoman's made the full rotation into the spawn of New Bern. Suddenly, it's Xavier in a 1 versus 4. Bombs down at A. The harder of the two bomb sites to retake. He's already been spotted out. The MCW's shots land. Jabrinki taking round 1. A lot better of a bounce back here into the search and destroy.
And that's how you want to start things off. You got to start off by getting an early dub, you know, again, building back some of that momentum you may have lost in game number 1. And you know what? That's exactly what Jabrinki needed. Now they have, you know, pretty much a better feeling of being on the winning side. Granted, it was only round number 1, but at the same time, you know, just being in that 1-0 lead can do wonders for your morale and momentum.
especially when you lose just narrowly in the hard point at Soka. So for Jabrinki, it's kind of building off that success from round 1, seeing what you can bring onto the defense. And now as you're looking to see if you can string together a couple of rounds, the attack from Newburn, again, leading towards that bottom blue side. They have a player, Vicious, already working through pit. He's going to open up with the first blood. Icy trying to get that trade with the MCW. He will. Xavier goes down, and so with him, the bomb. Now with numbers, Jabrinki trying to win their second. It's all down to Alex in a 1v2 now.
Icy Pro Man really slick with that drop shot. I gotta tell you, there was a couple of times where their opponent had the drop on them, but then they were able to literally drop the shot on them. I mean, that was a nice turnaround, and again, great reaction time coming from Icy Pro Man in order to salvage not only their own life, but also to take 2 in the crossfire. Now, we are looking at Alex here trying to salvage the dub in the favor of Newburn, but, you know, Jabrinki on defense looking really good.
Yeah, Alex, star of the show back on the hard point. It's a game hide and seek now in the search. Is he going to read to his left? He's going to run right past Mosey. Shot down to 79. Won't be able to turn. Jabrinki putting 2 in a row with their offense and defense. That is good looks for the search and destroy, trying to at least flip things in its script and push this to a map number 3. And kind of checking off those boxes, like you said, you get that first blood traded as soon as Vicious goes down. The second player over towards A is dropping the bomb. That was Icy Pro, like you said, kind of hitting that drop shot. And with numbers, I think Jabrinki just looks so composed in this game mode, whereas Newburn are really frantic, trying to make something happen and be a hero. And that is not going to win you games here in Search.
Well, let's see if a Newburn can try and get it together. Now they get a chance to defend. For all we know, Highrise could just be defender-sided in S&D. You know, let's see if Jabrinki can have, can have success on the attacking side of the bomb here for their first go on offense.
Well, Icy gonna take the walk around blue, spots Alex on the stairs and actually wins a tough fight. And not many people hit those shots, but it's gonna bring us into a 3-on-2. Now that JD with the Renetti trades out onto Rio Min. Xavier hitting a route, or potentially hitting a route through bottom blue. He's going to be all alone now. Bomb's going to get planted. He's going to get spotted, and Pachi gets his gun up in time. Jabrinki with 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, Jabrinki, I think Highrise is just their map, to be honest. I mean, they were on the defensive side. They were able to win out. Now on the offense side, they're able to catch the first dub. And my goodness, I mean, those shots with the Renetti coming from Pachi, those were clean. At least chest and head only. I mean, that was some pretty good shot placement there coming from Pachi.
It was. It was. And Newburn, I mean, they don't have an answer so far. Soka, and I really don't understand what has changed from maps 1 to map 2, but it just doesn't seem like they have the right read for a lot of these situations. I'd like to see players, especially their ARs like Alex, try to play for that high ground again on the helipad, try to beat some timings into bottom blue, play for these first bloods, and I expect these players to be there, but they're just playing into their hands. Mosey's going to find a first blood. Ryomin falls off the map, and
oh no.
Now Newburn potentially trying to flip things in towards the pit. The timing, though, doesn't go their way. Mosey walks away with highway robbery. I don't know how he's still alive.
Well, they're not anymore. I mean, they got dealt with. But like you said, you know, that was a very high-risk play. I'm surprised they managed to last as long as they did. But now, once again, Jabrinki back on their fair footing here on defense as they have control of the bomb now as well.
Yeah. This bomb sounds on B. Alex in a 1-versus-1. Pachi has all the info, and Alex has a swarm in hand. So obviously, you know, those long-range battles, not the weapon of choice, but doable. He's taking all the right routes here. 30 seconds, lots of time to figure things out, and he's going to spot Pachi. Now Alex, Semtex out, no info. He gets the bomb, 19 seconds. Does he play for the plan, or is he going to hunt for this one? He's going to take it all the way to A. I love this call.
Yeah, this was actually a wonderful retake because more often than not, if you lose control of the bomb, that's GG's, well played, go next. But they managed to, again, you know, just kind of, you know, get their opponent off bomb by throwing out the Simtex, and then they were able to snag. And now the the pressure's on the Pachi as they have to come through with the retake and defuse, and they have no idea where Alex is.
Oh, and Alex actually spotted Pachi over towards pit, so he knows he's not going to be on the bomb. Pachi taking his sweet time to clear everything. And Alex just has to wait for the information. 15 seconds, not a lot of time to make this work. Pachi has to clear this as best as he can and might just have to hop this bomb. That's it. Just got to check it if you're Alex. Get the kill. And that's Newbert on the board.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if Jabrinki's going to go down, they made it as close as possible, right? I mean, this is their first loss here on Highrise, and, you know, it was definitely one of the closer rounds that we have seen so far. But good on Alex. I mean, again, the fact that they were able to recover the bomb after it was lost out of their possession and then still get the plant off, again, that was just fantastic plays being made. A real hero moment, again, coming from New Bern in order to salvage their first win on Highrise.
Yeah, first round win their way, and let's see if they can make it too. The attack goes their way into a 1v1 from Alex, playing the clock to perfection. Swapping those bomb sites at just the right time. And now over towards the defensive side. Alex is actually going to get caught for the first blood there. Doubling up in bottom blue. It's Mosey and Icy Pro Man. Going to leave Vicious here to hopefully ward things off. Spots out on the one. There's tough shots with the Rival 9, and it will be a member escaping. Icy Pro Man going to bring this into a 4v2 now for Jabrinki to put their fourth on. Vicious check his corner. It's all down to one.
Man, don't get me wrong. I know Call of Duty is a much faster pace, you know, shooter than most, but I think when it comes to any FPS, the old adage just reigns true no matter what. Always, always, always check your corners. Every corner, if you can.
Always check your corners. It's rule number 1 of any shooter game. Ahsoka. Is it rule number 1? I feel like there's a couple more rules you can put in there.
I mean, there's a lot of rules, but that one is definitely up there. And you know what's one thing that I do miss, you know, here on Highrise is, and I'm surprised, no one's ego challenging the windows in the very beginning. Like you know, jumping through the glass. Like more often than not, especially if you have that MSW, you're able the MCW. My apologies. I literally was going through the alphabet. I knew I was going to get it right. But when you ego challenge the MCW, you know, through the window, you know, you can actually have enough accuracy to cross map with that.
Especially these days with the recent buff. You see players in the CDL do it. Just not confidence shown here from these ARs in VESL. Jabrinki, though, doesn't need those early chows out because they're winning the rounds outright. 5-1 they go. 1 round away from sending us to a high-rise control. And everything pointing their way, that they're just knowledge of the maps, the timing, the PowerPoints to kind of set up on these angles. It's just so knowledgeable here for Jabrinki, and this is a near flawless game number 2. Only round that they lost was a 1v1.
Yeah, and you know, this is the type of win that they needed, especially, you know, if they do manage to win this out and, you know, they force the game 3, we're going back to Highrise. But, you know, with that being said, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going back to hardpoint as well, if not control. Yeah, we're going to be going to control on Highrise. So if they're able to win this game 3 on if they're able to win this round 2 on Highrise and go into game 3 on Highrise again, that's going to give them a lot of momentum going into that game 3 if they manage to win out. And so far, you know, they are on a really good start here to take this game number 2 enforce that game 3.
Well, Alex there finds the first blood. It's traded, and Icy has made his way all the way into enemy territory. Alex has no idea. 4 in a row for Icy. Shot's a little shaky, still finds the kill, and it's all down to JD. 2 and 6, 1 versus 3. Life on the line for this map number 2. He is in a little bit of an, I guess, unnoticed situation, but he's going to give himself away. Bombs getting planted right away, and everybody adapting to the scenario. JD in a tough pickle. He's going to drop down, fighting for his life. Unfortunately, it's not going to be, and Jabrinki taking map 2 with a dominant 6-1.
Well, there you have it. They're able to force that game number 3, and like I said, we're going to be going back to Highrise. So again, you know, we got to see Jabrinki really pop off on this map, and now we get to see if it was just only for S&D or if it's going to translate over into control as well for game number 3. But I mean, again, going for S&D, really slowing down the pace of play. Jabrinki just were all over it. The amount of control, the amount of discipline, and honestly, like you had mentioned earlier, the map knowledge just truly shined through here for Jabrinki. And you know, hopefully for them, that map knowledge can also translate from S&D into control, as once again we do have to go back to Highrise for that game 3.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary because, all things considered, you look back to the Subbase, and the Subbase traditionally isn't a map that, I guess players at the lower level will be able to manipulate and read to perfection. It's very difficult to hold those spawns, and it's very difficult to get those setups and hold those setups if your ARs aren't in those power positions that I was highlighting during the map. But on a map like Highrise, it's very traditional. You can work the map, you have lanes to run, and the subs are able to get in your face in a matter of seconds with the underground routes that are possible. And I saw a lot of that from the side of Jabrinki, the way that they were setting up with those early fights, playing on the timing through blue, playing for the timing underneath, trying to get in towards the enemy spawn. It happened multiple times. Newburn didn't do it a single time. So heading into this control where you need those power positions to be a highlight of your team, kind of the go-to really to set up, it's going to be very difficult for me to bet against Jabrinki right now with how well they played that search and destroy.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna give Newburn the benefit of doubt because they played so well on Subbase. Again, they played really well on hardpoint, so let's see if they can do the same thing on a control. And I'm really just happy to see that we're back on Highrise again, because fun fact, Highrise holds a special place in my heart because this is where I got my first ever nuke. My first nuke ever was on Highrise back in 2009.
It's always going to hold a special place in anyone's heart right there. But for Jabrinki, seems like they have this on lock so far. A triple stack onto B. The zone's going to get captured right away, and Newburn are in shambles. A's already being worked on. Patchy playing for the spawn kills. He's going to take down Xavier. It's another double in the feed. JD goes down, and a chance for Jabrinki to stack this A zone as well. Alex, just like map 1, has to go above and beyond.
Well, here we go. Big flank coming through from Alex there as they're able to find one elimination in order to stop the push. But I mean, look how much has already been done. You have a full entire site already completed for the side of Jabrinki, and they've already gotten one tick off of A, and they got plenty of time and more lives to do it.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Ruin. Just the trade fest. IC is just going to continue to keep this time at bay. Off the respawn, Jabrinki looking to reinforce this zone. They're racing, but Newburn off the spawn. Can they get Icy away from this one? So far, not so good as he's on 2 in a row, 6-1 start to this control. And the third tick now being worked on. Snaps over towards JD. Now for the stack. It's going to go fast, and Jabrinki in the blink of an eye, winning the first offense on Highrise.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's the speed that I think stood out the most there. I mean, they took that with 2 minutes to spare. I mean, that was insanely fast. So, going into the next round, if we're going to see Newburn really step things up, they've got to do it in a timely fashion. I mean, you don't really have to rush, and you don't have to go, tit for tat as far as time is concerned. But still, you want to make that impression. You want to get that early momentum and be as dominant, because right now, Jabrinki, that momentum is just going to snowball into more round wins. And let's see now if Jabrinki can keep that momentum going here on the defensive side of control.
Just does not look like the same team we had on Subbase. Ahsoka. Jabrinki are just in full takeover mode since the search and destroy began. Vicious now on towards this A zone, looking for a big win. Tapachi wins out. That's going to be the zone still progressing for the side of Newburn. Congestion number 2, low on health, not going to be able to regen. The trade's still back and forth, but the only thing is, Jabrinki not going 4 down like we saw from Newburn. It's allowing them to just continue to keep this contention out and deny some solid spacing from Newburn.
And you know what? I'm not bad at this strategy. They're giving up a little possession on A because I think they want to focus on B. I think that's where the majority of their focus is going to go. Like, don't get me wrong. They're slowing them down on towards that A side. But honestly, when it comes down to it, I think it's all about the clock management here. I mean, look, there's already only a minute remaining, and they've only gotten 1 tick on the A side.
Yeah. Lives about even, but pretty normal for this map mode combo. Icy Pro Man just continuing to win fights out. Xavier alone wins it 2. It goes down to Pachi. 48 seconds left. 3 life difference. Make it a 4 life difference. JT just trying to make something happen over towards B. Nobody's going to be found. The Renetti wins out onto Rioman. Now 2 down. 4 into Jabrinki. There's a chance for Newburn to make a play. 4 down in a row.
Man, look at this cheeky spot right here. My goodness, Vicious. What is Vicious doing there? Exactly. It doesn't really matter as long as they're able to cap these points. You can see A is nearly captured, and now they only need 2 more ticks on B in order to strike back against Jabrinki.
It's a big moment for Newburn. Zilka. I think Jabrinki had full control of that defense until that 4th down, and B is the easier zone to capture when it comes down to the offensive side. You just need one player to hit this flank route, open up a couple of these kills, and it really snowballs out of your control with how you can dominate that left side of the map. Vicious and Alex now looking to tag team this one. Alex, though, gets caught. Icy Pro Man from above helping Ryoman. You're down to 1 minute and 7 seconds left if you're Newburn on the offense.
And, you know, we wish them the best of luck. I mean, they got just over 1 minute remaining. All they need is 2 more ticks, and that is going to be a great retake in order to force their way onto site. It is still contested, and right there you can see Pachi able to stay alive barely in the corner, as now they're going to have to respawn there on Newburn.
It's all down to the lives now. 54 seconds. It's plenty of time, but Newburn only have 1 more challenge. With all their members alive, now no more respawns remaining. Pachi is up top, a human turret with the MCW, just preying on these players. Still alive, Dmosi to the rescue. 2 members left for Newburn on their offense, and it just does not look possible to break through. Jabrinki on the edge of going up 2-0 on the Highrise. They're going to make it happen, and they are ready to take this series in the quarterfinals and move on to play sense.
Yeah, and you know what? You really love to have the conversation whether, you know, the map is going to be offensive-sided or defensive-sided. I think Highrise is just Jabrinki-sided because they managed to come in and they did well in Search and Destroy. And you know what? I'll go ahead and call it for what it was. It was single-handed. What was the final scoreline? Like 6-1, and now we're going into control and it's 2-0. And I got to tell you, I mean, Jabrinki, they are just looking too good on this map.
Just looks like they have figured things out. A little bit slow to the race on the sub base, but even the sub base was competitive towards the back end at Soka. So maybe it was just a bad map 1. You could chalk it up to that with the way that they're playing here in 2 and 3. Alex looking to fight for B. He's going to win that with the Renetti. Pachi goes down. B zone decapped, and now A is going to be the main focus of Newburn. Alex going to have to make a play on the flank. He's got some help, but can he find the players off respawn here?
Well, they're able to find at least 1 there for the push, but you got to keep in mind that they are still ticking away, and they managed to get the first tick off of A, and now they're going for the first tick on B as well. That is a great spread to start things off, and now they have some more help on towards the B side.
Oh, no.
You can see Vicious forces their way in order to clear out 1, but here comes another, and they're not going to be able to get the second. My goodness, that is just such a ratty corner to try and live, and you know what? Pachi played it perfectly.
Yeah, the crane in the corner, not easy to shoot through that. And we get to see it firsthand in 4K. Fortunately enough for Newburn, they do break back on towards B's. They only give up 1 tick onto A and B, so all things considered, not too bad of a defensive round so far. JD is going to be on 5 in a row, so looking for that cruise missile as well in the arsenal for the team, and that would be a huge moment for the potential comeback. JD is going to get the cruise missile with 6 in a row. On towards B and A we go. It's 3 down for Newburn. Alex again. Gonna have to go big. Stops the progression at B. Gonna have to put some focus over towards A.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get there quick. You can see JD is going to be making it there with the Renetti, and they're able to find 1. As you can see, they are going to be able to degress A down. And right now, Jabrinki, they're running out of time. They're going to have to get 1 of these points very soon if they want to stay alive. Again, just about 55 seconds on the clock. As you can see, it has been stopped. They're able to avoid the danger. At least 1, and A will be captured. They get more time. Yeah,
minute 51, 9 lives to 14. So Newburn, they have a chance to put this to rest. Still with lives. Lots of time for Jabrinki, but they have to be cautious of giving up their lives for free. Vicious on top heli, yes, with a rival 9, but this is going to be a good chance to cut down some of these members while they cross into the zone. Ryoman, he's going to be in, stops the clock in a minute 34, but traded with the Semtex with Alex. And Alex looking for 2, going to back down from the fight.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, you know, I mean, the time is on their side, but the lives not so much. They only got, well, now they don't have any respawns remaining. So, I mean, this is pretty much where we saw the game get out of control for New Bern when they were on the attacking side. So, I think it's safe to say that this one is going to be going the way of New Bern. They just have the lives, they have the time, and the retake's just not going to come through. You can see Pachi there will be eliminated, and there you have it. New Bern able to get their win on the board here on Highrise.
Yeah, New Bern finally putting one on the board. We saw it when Alex came into play for the 1v1 back on the Highrise Search and Destroy, but it was the only round they were able to get. Yes, Search and Destroy and Control, they're two vastly different game modes in the grand scheme of competitive Call of Duty, but even still, for New Bern, they have a tall mountain to climb, so job's not done. Move back to the offense, and I'd like to see a little bit more cohesion when it comes down to taking these zones. Hit this B zone, get 4 down, stack it immediately, get that time on your hand, and try not to give up too many lives. They're going to do that, but they're going to dip their toes over towards A the first time.
Yeah, that they are. I'm surprised there hasn't been a trade yet, and already you can see shots are fired, and that's one of the only times I think I've seen a trade where no one was eliminated. That was interesting.
And it's just a handshake and give it up for this one. And I don't mind this call at all. You go back in towards the pit, but they're losing map control because Icy has that top heli control. Finds the player on the zone. No way he's still alive right now. And the help is out. Mosey almost going to take him down. Instead, he jumps off the map, and Alex turns it into a 2-piece. So back onto A we go for New Bern.
Yeah, you got to remember the high part of Highrise. Falling off the map is definitely a way that you could go on this map. As again, you can see that first tick at A nearly gone as they were going to be jumping on the site trying to control. Meanwhile, big elimination up on high for Alex in order to get them out of that crow's nest. But now, once again, you got Jabrinki that are just going to be eating away at that A control, and not much doing here for New Bern, unfortunately, to start things off. They only got, what, 38 seconds remaining?
Yeah, 37 seconds. It lies about even. Xavier's going to make it 3 down. If you win this fight on towards A, you have a chance to stack the zone. Xavier just has to stay alive. I don't know how Icy is just finessing his life, but finally going to go down. Mosey have to respawn here to help, but as Mosey falls, Pachi's going to drop. Rioman has to stay alive one by one. They just continue to funnel on in. Rioman's going to clear the A zone, only giving up 1 tick. 33 seconds left. Jabrinki just continuing to hold on and weather the storm.
Look at this. Now they're going to be playing for retake here. They gave up the site to Jabrinki, trying to hold there in tunnel, but unfortunately they got called out as well. And a nice little Radicappy maneuver here, trying to take B, but it's not going to be doing them any good. As you can see, it is going to be contested. They're not going to be able to get the full first tick, and now finally they do, but still, you got to look at that clock winding down ever so little, but, you know, they are able to make a good amount of progress on towards that A site, and still got a little bit of time to try and eck out this first capture.
And Jabrinki have, like, little to no lives left, so both teams are kind of sitting on the edge of this map right now. 2 ticks at A, 2 ticks at B, and B is still getting worked on. There's still lives for New Bern. Just continue to throw at the zone. 3 go down. Alex caps off A. So minute 26 now for New Bern to send us to a round number 5. And they definitely have the wind in their sails.
Yeah, I think they're going to take this one, honestly, just because I feel like for the strategy that Jabrinki were going for, like literally throwing lives onto site, that was great when you had the clock on your side, but now you no longer do. The clock is not there, your lives aren't there, and they are literally just 1 tick away from forcing that round 5. So again, I mean, no respawns left here for Jabrinki. You know, I don't want to call it early, but it definitely feels that way.
Well, Icy on 4 in a row, 36 and 20. It's a 3 versus 6, double the lives of Jabrinki right now, and New Bern still not on this zone just yet. They're going to regroup, see if they can hit this together as a team. And Icy trying to make those hero plays. He's going to drop, leaving only 2 members left alive for Jabrinki. This has all of the making of a round number 5. Vicious is on the hunt. He's going to spot out the last, and we're going the distance.
Yeah, that we are. We're going to be going all the way to round 5. And keep in mind that this is going to be match point for both sides. Again, New Bern managed to take the hard point there on Subbase, and then it was Jabrinki able to answer back on Highrise with S&D. So here we are, game 3, round 3, or, you know, actually round 5 now here on Control. So this first game, this game number 1 is going the full distance.
So on the defense, again, you know, right now I'm not going to give it to either one of these teams. They've had their spotlighted moments. They've had their, you know, not so great moments. And for Jabrinki, it kind of goes back to what you were saying about their defense. You just don't throw lives one by one into these zones. Try to get some position over towards the top heli. Pachi is going to have a chance for this one with Realman watching behind them. The striker at range, not going to land, but Pachi's still there, stopping the presence over towards A. He's going to find his 3rd in a row, holding the defense strong. Icy coming out to help as 4 clean down. Pachi on 4 in a row.
Now you got Xavier trying to make their way onto site. They throw out a little friendly sim text just to say hello, and now they are on site, but they get read like a pop-out book, and that is going to be an easy elimination there. Now Alex able to find one of their own.
Yeah, it's a couple kills there for Newburn, and that's going to allow Alex to go towards top heli, watch over the players in the hill, do a little bit of damage, soften them up while they cross, and hopefully the players inside can hold their lives. They cannot, so Jabrinki wins their fights, battles back in towards these zones, and neutralizes the A zone as well. 40 seconds left for Newburn, and Jabrinki being a lot more patient at this one. But in doing so, they're allowing Newburn to just walk all over them and set up for these executes. They're on to B, and they're surrounding A. This is not a good look for Jabrinki to get out of their spawn with.
Yeah, like, and to the point you were making that they're playing a little bit more patient than they were last time, I'm actually not too opposed to it, because again, you give up a little in order to gain a little. They give up a little bit of that control, no pun intended, and then they're able to come through with the retake, and they're really able to hinder that progression and try and waste time off the clock. But right now, Newburn, they are running things here on towards the B site until finally Pachi is able to come through and clean things up before it got out of hand.
Yeah, only giving up a tick towards B. Time stopped at 27 seconds on the A zone. We see for Newburn, but can they hold on? Alex going to find Ryoman traded by Icy. Pachi's going to hit this route, and he has a chance to blow it all up. Nobody's going to get ready for this one. Striker 9, ready to rip and tear. Pachi gets 2, clears out A. Again, only a tick of presence. Vicious trying to hold on for his best, but now the time is dwindling, and Jabrinki are looking to put this one away.
Yeah, and not only that, but they have the live count in their favor too. So if they wanted to try and bring back that strategy where they were just throwing their lives onto the point, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to start going reckless. And as you can see, that kill streak right there, that homing missile is just going to come in and already get some free lives for them. But now, literally mere seconds, only 10 seconds remaining for Newburn to try and cap at least one of these sites.
With the objective, Rauman finishes off JD. Mosey, a second one into the contest. 7 seconds there. Rauman still alive and ready to win it all. 5 members left for Newburn. Off the respawn. No time to get to the points. And it looks like Jabrinki gonna top things off with a best of 3 reverse sweep 3 or 2-1 over the side of Newburn to move on and play sense in the semifinal.
Yeah, and that was a phenomenal display of talent coming from Jabrinki, especially being able to come off of a loss there on that hard point. You know, that first game, in order to shake that off and just to go into next and still be able to take the wins. I mean, that first sub-base defeat was, again, so close there towards the end that you think it would have been a little bit, you know, of a little bit deterring. But no, they actually took that. They took it in stride. They were able to put it into the back of their minds, and they were able to GG play for next. And then they were able to take the morale that they built on Search and Destroy and then carry it over into Control. So GG's, way to hold that mental fortitude, way to keep disciplined, and way to just confirm the win. So again, big GG's, of course, to both teams, but it is going to be Jabrinki that moves on.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, good from these teams. There's a lot of mishaps for sure that we were pointing out, but towards the end, it was a very competitive best of 3. And, you know, for Newburn, yes, you're bowing out in the quarterfinals. Not where you wanted to bow out from this tournament, but you put up a good fight, and next time you're playing in the tournament, you just have that chance to get your revenge over Jabrinki if you meet them again. For Jabrinki, heading into the semifinals, you have Sense waiting for you. Sense coming off of a DQ over SEAL Team 6, so they haven't played just yet, and that's where you look towards Jabrinki, who are now warm after this best of 3, playing all 3 maps at Soka. I mean, you gotta look towards this team to just come in with full force against the Sense team in the semis. I'm sure they're going to be ready for it.
Oh, 100%. However, with that being said, don't get me wrong, like on paper and honestly, in my own personal opinion, I feel like Jabrinki definitely has the advantage going into the next map, going into the semifinals. But since we're able to sit on the sidelines, granted that they were getting icy, but they were able to watch every single game that Jabrinki was just in. So they had a chance to sit on the sidelines, watch the gameplay, take notes, and come into their match with a little bit more game knowledge. So again, it is a little bit of, kind of like, cat and mouse there. Is it going to be the side that is coming off of a really close game? They're hot on the sticks. They're feeling good. Or is it going to be the other team that managed to get a little bit of intel? Again, we'll just have to wait and see. And we're going to have to take a quick short break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will be back with more Call of Duty action for you right here at the Varsity Esports and STEM League, otherwise known as VESL. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, hello and welcome back to the VESL Call of Duty one-off tournament again. I am Captain Atoka, joined on the desk with the caster with the most, who gives you a little more. It's Seymour.
You made me feel way too good. You're gonna make me blush, Soka. The last thing I want to do is blush on camera. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was just hot in my room, but now it's hot on the desk as well. And I'm excited to see this next match because I was talking them up in the pre-show to our last series because they are, I'd say, the team that I think everybody's going to be looking at to come out with a win this tournament. And it's NYSL Junior that we're going to be jumping in with versus the well-known. And it's Soka, this NYSL Junior team, I mean, there's a reason why they're sponsored by New York Subliners. That's because Swag Check on it, he is a member of the New York Subliners, and for good reason. It's because they see a lot of potential in this kid to go the distance and potentially be a CDL prospect in the future. He's only in high school, so the fact that he's scouted by a CDL team, put into them as an NYSL Junior team within the VESL tournament, that says a lot about the skill that he brings in, and I don't know if anybody can step up to him as an individual throughout this tournament.
And you know what? It's no surprise, to be honest. You know, a lot of esports organizations, esports teams, they do this all the time. And from what it's sounding like, that this player is going to be a #1 draft pick, and they're already investing into this player. That's what you do. You make long-term investments so you can help them grow and become a better player. And by the time they are able to qualify for the Pro League, all of a sudden, you already got another player up to join the roster. Again, coming from a Rocket League background, it was the same thing that happened with Scrubkilla. Scrubkilla was one of the youngest Rocket League prodigies ever, and he was being scouted for so long, and then when he finally turned 16, he was picked up by Renault Vitality. So again, it's not uncommon to see pro teams take interest in early players like high school players.
Yeah, and well, here he is on screen. Swag Check. Look at that, just sliding in, perfect pre-aim onto that first member, and he's up to 3 in a row to open up this real hard point of map where, unlike the Subbase that we saw earlier in the day at Soka, this is going to be dominated by those sub players, and that's where Swag Check really can play at his best. He's going to be shut down finally, but the backup is there from Neo and Fashion, 2 members to join this roster into the VESL now that we didn't get to see last time they were on stream for VESL. So excited to see what this new NYSL Junior team can do with 2 fresh faces.
Yeah, when it comes to arena shooters, I often say subs get dubs, and you know what? Especially on this map, I think it's pretty safe to say. But with that being said, we're gonna be moving right on forward, and already the New York Subliners Junior squad. Can we just call them the New York Subliners, because that is a long name to include Junior there at the end. Regardless, they're in the lead.
Yeah, they're in the lead by a margin, too, of 45 so far, and you can see how far that the well-known are going to be spawning out. Neo going to be watching the cross-through info, dancing around the pillar with the Renetti, looking for 2, not going to happen. Finally shut down by Your Pride. The Swag Check next up to bat, expected on the pre-aim there. Your Pride going to try to go for the challenge. He's going to lose that, but the rest of the team wins out. They break the hill, 21 seconds that the well-known need desperately.
You can see the Subliners once again are going to be taking control. No, actually, it's the well-known that managed to strike back here, as they are going to be defending until finally Me is going to be eliminated. Now Swag Check going to be watching him around, going to play for that next hard point. They already get at least 1 read. As you can see, Homie Bear is going to be eliminated, and now the play for the next hard point is underway.
Another 3 down to the feet, though, on rotation. Well known, they may have broken for a little bit of time there, but they get absolutely nothing when it comes to setting up at new. And take a look at the map. There's like a line of scrimmage through the middle that NYSL Junior have set up over towards bridge as well as boxes, and there's nowhere that the well-known can really battle into without taking these early engagements against these subs, and you're just kind of running into the unknown at this part. NYSL Junior can do absolutely nothing wrong. Neo is up to another 3 in the row. They're tracking down this last member. The communication is good too. It's Me gonna break in for a couple of seconds, but he's shut down. Fashion on 5 in a row, Neo on 4 in a row. It is just a well-oiled machine right now for NYSL Junior.
Yeah, I mean, they already got over 100 points. I mean, my goodness, and they are just operating here as they manage to find themselves just on top of this control point again and again and again, and they don't show any signs of slowing down. It seems like they literally have every single angle covered.
They do. And I don't think the well-known really are too keen on getting these early rotations out. Ciccone, nice double kill coming out with your MCW. This is where, say, the MCW has the most impact when it comes down to any of the hard points, aside from hardpoint 5, 4, and 5 in turn, or where you're going to see a member like Ciccone really play at their best. Except for that, you're looking at Fashion, who just continues to lay down the pressure. With 21 seconds, looking to go to the rest of NYSL Junior. I'd like to see the well-known off respawn try to set up for this new hill over towards P5, which always can look towards the minimap. It's going to be at the top, the north side, where you see the lock now pop up on your screen.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much doing. I mean, they're already past the halfway mark and then some on the side of the New York Subliners as they just continue to build upon their lead. And it seems as though that they have at least one anchor on the point, which is the way that you want to do. And then you have literally everybody else from the New York Subliners, and they're just going out and fragging. They're just going and hunting down a lot of these eliminations.
Well, here we see 179 to 21. Absolute bloodbath in favor of NYSL Junior. Swag check winning the fights through the middle of the map. Ciccone locking down the time inside the hard point. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. All the objective time for Ciccone on Rio hard point. Coming from the big dynamic duo, Swag checked and Ciccone. This two together just seem like they can do anything. We're inside of this VESL league. 200 points amassed, and they're looking for the dub.
Yeah, that they are. And like I was saying earlier, you know, they just have Ciccone there, and they're going to continue to play anchor, and then you have your fraggers that are just going to go out and hunt down eliminations. They're literally putting an end to the well-known before they can even try and make it onto site. And now you can see Swag checked again, going to be holding things down toward the escalator. They get the read. They're able to find another elimination, and Swag check really just being the spearhead for this New York Subliners team.
Ciccone's gonna get stunned. Here comes the contest. Homie Bear looking to barrel on through. Finally gonna get that win there. Doubles down with back to lobby. And the well-known, I mean, albeit down 180 points, they're still trying to hold on tooth and nail. Swag check here to Fatal in with the Renetti. It's a clean 3 from Swag checked. You can't win here, but you're gonna get so close.
Now setting up prone, able to get an amazing read. My goodness, the flick of the wrist in order to hit that last shot, and then they find another. And now the New York Subliners are around the corner from getting this elimination. And luckily, the stun was able to hit Swag check, or that would have been just another elimination. And finally, they go down.
It's just on a dime. It's just one by one. Swag check collecting these kills, making it look so damn easy with that Rival 9. Over towards P2, the early setup and the kills going the way of NYSL Junior with 8 seconds left. You can see the well-known, they are racing to run up this ramp, but NYSL, they have the spread, they have the map under control, and they have the map in their bag. What a win in map 1.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, you would hate to say that it was one-sided, but, you know, the scoreline, you know, speaks for itself. I mean, there's really nothing else to say on that. It was literally just all New York Subliners all day, and my goodness. Yeah, this definitely, and not just Swag check for that matter, but the entire team. I mean, they really came together, and they performed. I mean, you look at Ciccone, and, you know, granted that, you know, they don't have the damage, you know, the KD isn't all that phenomenal, but that's because they were on the hill. I mean, they have 3 minutes of hill time. My goodness. They were playing their roles. They got their positions, they got their jobs, and they were able to execute. Just, I mean, there's nothing you could do against a well-oiled machine like the New York Subliners.
This is what I was afraid of. So can you see it firsthand right there? I mean, just how good this team is when you look at, you know, Swag checked as an individual, and then you have, you know, the dynamic duo of Swag checked and Ciccone just wants to sit on that hill, get that objective time, and make sure that the rest can fly. And you add Neo, you add Fashion. These two, I'm getting first contact with seeing them play, and it's just such a good addition to their school, to their team, that you just look at this NYSL Junior team and you expect them to be the winners at the end of any tournament you're looking at here for VESL. But I'm here for also seeing some upsets, and on the other side, it may not have been the best performance coming out from the well-known, but heading into the Search to Destroy, we saw the turnaround in our last series in the best of 3. So there's no reason why this team, the well-known, can't turn things around in a game mode. It's slower, it's more controlled, it's where you can look towards your team to make those individual plays as well as shake things up and play more team oriented. You can see the best of both worlds when it comes down to the play styles, and I think that this is where the well-known can kind of take away from worrying about the objective, worry about rotating through the map, and just worry about what's in front of you, round by round, one set at a time. And this is where they can turn it around in map 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, not only that, but you're not, I mean, you can go frag heavy in S&D, but you know, it's not as rewarding. It's a lot more high risk, high reward, because you can't just trade off GG and go next. You know, once you get eliminated, you're done. So again, it's not as rewarding to just, you know, go and, you know, just go gunny. You know, you really have to be a little bit more methodical about it. But with that being said, you know, I think Chaconi is exactly that player coming from the side of the New York Subliners in order to be that methodical, slow pace type of player. So again, it's still going to be somewhat of a threat. But with that being said, you know, again, it is a really big opportunity coming from the side from the well-known for them to try and outmaneuver, not necessarily outpace. Again, the pace of play is going to be slowed down, but to outmaneuver their opponents. This is where you get some real good game knowledge. This is where map knowledge really comes into play, and it's not as chaotic. It's not as hectic. There's a little bit more method to the madness when it comes to S&D. So, you know, again, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the well-known can do.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like playing this NYSL Junior team, this is kind of your litmus test on how far you can push in towards these tournaments. If you can take NYSL Junior the distance, then you are the team at the top echelon of this league. If not, you know, you're kind of just like every other team that steps in their way. NYSL Junior are sitting at the top for good reasons, and they're looking to stay there with Neo, first blood. Swag checked a second one, bomb down for perfect post plant. And this is looking deadly.
I love how Chaconi was the one that planted the bomb, right? You know what I mean? Like, they were playing the objective, they were playing the hard point in the previous matchup. Now they're coming through on S&D, and they're going to be the one that plants the bomb. You know, I'm just going to start calling them OBJ Chaconi, because that just seems to be their entire play style, dude. They're just on the objective every single game mode.
And she's kind of been that player for this NYSL Junior team, even, you know, in the regular season of the league when we did see them come out as victors during kind of states early on this year. She plays the OBJ. She lets Swag Checked, you know, be that slay heavy player, kind of work around, keep the team comfortable, and, you know, keep their enemies, you know, at arm's reach. So you like to see that nothing has changed between these two, and Swag Check just continues to be that monster pulling first blood. Nice jump chow for the information. Semtex, will it land? It will. So that's 2 quick kills from Swag Check. Neo wins the fight through mid, and everybody dies with a matter of seconds.
I mean, what else do you expect? This is kind of what we have already witnessed, you know, coming from the New York Subliners. Again, you know, they were just going insanely frag heavy there on hardpoint. And you know what? They are no slouch when it comes to fragging here in Search and Destroy. And that's even more punishing, you know, when you're able to really go frag heavy in S&D, because you don't get to respawn. So if one team is getting all the eliminations, you don't have to worry about whether or not you could plant the bomb, because guess what? You've already been eliminated.
So for the well-known, I mean, Ahsoka, where do you start here? First bloods, that would be handy. Site control, maybe cream on top, but a round win would do you so well. The team nade from back to lobby lands right there. Going to be able to trade on to Chaconi, but you're still down at a deficit. Back and forth. Swag Check still alive. 2v1. He's on 5 in a row looking for that cruise missile. 31 seconds for back to lobby to make something out of nothing here. And Neo spotting the slide, going to put it away. 3 quick rounds from NYSL Junior.
I mean, can we clip that self nade just for me? You know, I might not post it. I might not. But I'm sorry, that was hilarious. I mean, yeah, like literally, just also because the context of what we were talking about, of what can the well-known do in order to, you know, make the comeback, try and turn things around, and then literally when you said that, they naded their own teammate, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's not the way to go.
That's like 2 steps back, like.
Yeah, I mean, the timing couldn't have been better. But regardless, we're going to play on, and we are going to be heading into round number 4 here for S&D. Here on the 6-star. I mean, it is definitely appears to be a 6-star hotel, but you know, we'll see who's going to be a 6-star team. So far, it's definitely the New York Subliners.
Now, Swag Check still on a spree, by the way. You're fried. Not going to check to the right, and it's just going to add to the tally. That is Swag Check's kills. Bomb may be down, but so are your lives. Swag Check going to finish things off for 4 in a row. Bomb's going to get defused right away. Maybe not. Swag Check. Ooh.
No.
Ooh. Ooh.
Not the body shot.
A little spicy here.
And then also, why not team fire? You know, just for the giggles. But like, what? I mean, dude, come on. Like, they know. I mean, you know, they know, we know. You don't need to drop the body shots. It's little.
It's like overkill at that point.
It is. It literally is. You know why? Because they're already dead, homie. Well, getting right back into it. Going into round number 5, and who else but Chaconi going to be taking control of the bomb here in order to play some OBJ. Going to be going for the early corner reads. Good reads. Way to be patient. Again, watch the lane, then make your move. So again, way to show a little bit of discipline there from Chaconi. As now you can see Fashion able to find themselves in elimination, and they're already working on clearing the site, as they nearly were able to find a nice little long range shot there. Unfortunately, not able to convert. As you can see, me able to find another one. Or is it just me? Yeah, it's just me. My bad. I don't know why I included the 8.
At least he found the 1 kill there. The rest, though, not to follow. 5 rounds in a row for NYSL Junior. They just continue to kind of bully their way through this map. On attacking rounds, you see them go straight for the bomb, look for those first bloods. A lot of presence through the middle of the map that I'm seeing from Neo and Fashion, and that's just giving them some good presence, some good safety, that they don't have to worry about those excess lanes being open for their enemies to kind of push through. And for the well-known, with that, you don't really see that presence on the map translate their way at all. They're bullied off these sites. They're forced to play in their spawn. They're nading themselves in their spawn as well. It just doesn't seem like the puzzle pieces are really there to get them into successful positions on the map. And you just see, honestly, again, like, Homie Bear has to play elsewhere, try to play distraction while the team trying to get this bomb at A.
Yeah, and if you ask me, and again, you know, captain be capping, but honestly, I think it comes down to playtime. You know, clearly, at least to me, it seems like, you know, the New York Subliners, they just have a lot more playtime. I mean, if you were to go and look at the hours played between these two teams, I'd be pretty confident in saying that the New York Subliners probably have a little bit more playtime than that of the well-known, and that's what it is appearing to me anyway. It seems like they have the map experience. They're able to go sick on the sticks. You know, the trigger discipline is there. Not to mention, a lot of it has to do with muscle memory. You know, you're watching these players play, and it just seems like the muscle memory is literally just synchronized in tune for the New York Subliners. Homie Bear also displaying a good bit of muscle memory, but at the same time, you know, they're just doing a little bit too much. They're being a little bit too sporadic. Whereas, you know, on the side of the New York Subliners, you know, they're looking a little bit more cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, cool, calm, collected, and just looking to get any fire lit underneath them. 6-0 in the search and destroy for the side of NYSL Junior. Swag Check doing Swag Check things. 11 non-traded kills. That stat is right, even though it says he's 1-0. That is not true. That is just the game being, you know, bugged, like we've always had for search and destroy scoreboards. It's not going to show you the right numbers, but I can promise you, 11 non-traded kills, that's the right stat that we are looking at for Swag Check. For the rest of the team, I'm liking what I'm seeing from NYSL Junior. I think they're even better than what I expected, and I know I just continue to gas this team up because they deserve it at Soka. I mean, you look at the additions of Neo and Fashion, the middle map control that they have from the sub, the pressure that they keep putting on, where in the past it was Swag Checked and Chaconi just continuing to carry the team and put them in the bag. Now you add Neo and Fashion to this team, and all 4 members are scary, and that is something you don't like to see if you're a competitor in these tournaments in the league, because you just took a really good team and you made them better. And I don't know what else to say about them other than they look fantastic.
Yeah, that they do. And you know what? Again, I got to give it up to the New York Subliners, because like you said, you know, we're talking a lot about, you know, we're talking a lot about Swag Checked, right? You know, they are clearly the one that is standing out right now, but you also got to give it up to Chaconi, who's been playing that OBJ. But at the same time, Neo and Fashion, I mean, they're also playing extraordinarily well. And honestly, the only reason that they're not getting a larger piece of the pie is because Swag Check keeps eating it all. I mean,
Yeah.
like, let's be honest. If it wasn't for Swag Check, I think both Neo and Fashion would be popping off right now. I mean, they're still playing phenomenally, but at the same time, you know, you have to, you know, you got to play your role, you got to play your lane, and, you know, everybody has their job. Clearly, Chaconi is going to be playing OBJ. Shout out to OBJ Chaconi, because they have been able to plant the bomb. You know, they're checking on their hard points in the previous series, so they're able to watch site, watch lane. Meanwhile, you got all the other players that are literally just going gunny, looking for eliminations, getting those frags before they can even get to the objective. So again, you know, everybody is just doing their job. They're synchronizing. And to me, that's what comes within that experience, that amount of playtime. You can tell not only are these players individually talented, but I think they also had a good amount of time practicing with one another. And that's something that you don't see a lot. Everybody likes to go and like to play their own thing. And, you know, they'll come together on tournament day, and then that will be like the first real day that they put in any real practice with one another. But for the New York Subliners, I really think that they have been putting in a lot of time with one another, partied up, you know, going into online, but also scrimming. You can tell that this team has played other competitive teams before.
Yeah, no, you can. And I think that's one thing that I think Swag Checked has always been talked about. You know, he plays ranked with players like Hydra, who in CDL is a world champion, MVP, who is, you know, a superstar when it comes down to the Call of Duty League. He is talked about nonstop by coaches like D-Real on NYSL, who sees the potential in this player, who has a lot of support for STEM and notices how much worth a player like Swag Check can have in a place like this. And the fact that, you know, this organization wants to take this player, nurture them into a champion, is what you like to see in the pipeline that is going from, you know, high school to potentially college to potentially playing on the big stage in the CDL. A player like Swagcheck is definitely somebody who can get that done, and you like to see the necessary kind of support system there to only make him better when he surrounds himself with players in Call of Duty who are at the top. You expect that Swagcheck still hasn't reached their max potential as a player. So, you know, every single time I see Swagcheck, he's always better, and he continues to keep growing. So now in this tournament, to see him surround himself with teammates in VESL who just want to win. Neo and Fashion, they had standout Rio hard points. I don't want to take that away from them. And now into the control, you look at them to do it again.
Well, here we are, going back to everybody's favorite map. I'm kidding. This is my favorite map. Going back to Captain's favorite map. We are here on Highrise as we are continuing to get the job done, and already it is going to be Neo from the New York Subliners in order to get onto the point first. But of course, none other than FragCheck got the first blood. I don't know.
Yeah, Neo in the zone, B captured. No lives lost for NYSL Junior. Finally, Swagcheck is going to drop. A little bit of lapse here.
I was about to say, Swag Check wasn't the only one that dropped. That
yeah,
frame
I thought for a second I was out. But here we are. We are back. Fashion in their spawn. Oh, he's out of bullets. How is... Whoa. Play a little bit of that Betty Hill music. He's trying to run around the generator and find this kill long enough that Neo and Swagcheck can come to the rescue. They're on to A, and they have a chance to sack this.
And once again, we're seeing those MCWs come back out, which is what I like on Highrise. It's not all about the Striker 9, you know, which was fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun gun. It's great. I am always a firm believer that the subs get dubs, but here on Highrise, it's a little bit of a different story. You got to bring out the assault rifles here.
Fashion's going to take down back to Lobby, who's looking to hit that flank inside the control zone. Eurofry not able to stay alive. Swagcheck puts together two. That's 4 in a row. Hops onto that zone, and Neo just continuing to knock them down in the spawn, clipping them off head glitches, keeping them away from the zone, making sure that NYSL Junior just can capture A and B with no worry in the world. An offensive round, it looked smooth as could be.
Were we able to clock that? Like, I wasn't even paying attention to the time, to be honest. Like, I should have been. But again, before I can even really take account to what the time was, the game had already been over. And again, Neo being so cheeky. How does no one check that spot? As soon as I get eliminated from that spot, the first gin, not to mention off the rip, you want to check every single angle for the spawn elimination, right? So that is going to be the first spot that I'm looking. And I'm just surprised that no one was checking it. And like you had mentioned, they were just getting spawn trapped by Neo. So I don't think they're going to be able to pull that off again. I'm hoping that the well-known begin to adapt as we continue on here. And my goodness, what a leap on that nade throw.
Oh, yeah. Does not hit where you want to. Neo with the overextension, going to be able to shoot a couple in the back here. Fried, he's lost in the sauce. Swagjack's going to be able to put some shots into that player. And now for the spawn trap. This is the high-rise, I guess, norm. Especially when you get 4 down on the offensive side. You get trapped in these windows and allow a player through those right side. Neo gets 6 in a row now. That's a cruise missile for NYSL Junior. And the additions just keep on coming for this NYSL team. Finally, Swagcheck's going to get cleaned up. That's going to give a little bit of map control to the team. But Fashion is in your spawn. So it never stops. It's always the NYSL show.
Yep, now Ciccone being able to find an elimination for themselves. Homie Bear does get eliminated, but at least they were able to get 1 tick on the board. But unfortunately, they only have just about 30 seconds left to try and get at least 1 entire site completed. And you know what? It hasn't been looking too good. Now me going for the big flank here, trying to find their way around. They're able to find an elimination onto Ciccone. And now they're able to find their way onto the A site.
19 seconds left for the well-known. They have a take towards B, but the pace that this one is going, they are down 12 lives, now 13. Or sorry, that was me that takes this one. Now 11. So they're going to be able to look to get towards the zone. Hopefully they can touch B. 3 seconds left. You're Fried now holding on for dear life. Doesn't know where to look. Players all around. Swag check from above. Going to clean up the rest. 2-0 for NYSL Junior in control. Now looking to 3-0 sweep their way into the grand finals.
And you know what? It is beginning to look that way. Again, you got Swag Check coming from up on high, and they are just literally covering every single angle. They're able to drop in, get the retake on control, and then again, the first place to where they should check is towards ladder, and that's where you have to have that map knowledge. You got to know where to instantly check, so that way you don't end up getting spawn trapped. As soon as it starts to seem, even when you get the first hit that maybe you're going to get spawn trapped, you need to be checking the right places. You need to be looking in the corners. You need to be looking at the right lanes, and you need to clear out, so that way you don't end up wasting a lot of lives and you don't end up wasting a lot of time. But here we are, possible 3-0 sweep here on the books for New York subliners as we go into round 3 here on Control.
Round 3 already on to B. Your Pride flanking, shoots a little too early, still gonna get win out in that fight versus Neo, tracking him down. Everything is going, though. Fashion still soaking up all the progress, not able to extend that streak over towards 5. Ciccone cleans up B. Another minute added to the clock for NYSL Junior. And now their eyes are set on this A zone. You still have a streak for Neo. Can you clear out the barrels? You will, but off the respawn, well-known, still fighting for this.
Able to at least find one there for Fried. Again, will trade out there onto the A side, but at least they were able to find one elimination onto site and hold off the capture for a little while, as Ciccone will be flanked as well.
At 55, you're Fried, not able to make it out. Fashion just sitting on this hill. Neo locking down the B lane, not allowing any flanks to happen. He's gonna now try to work through the bottom. It's a head-on collision for this control zone. Back to lobby. Top of the boxes. Good fight onto the first one. Expecting the rest to be behind the barrels. 360 gets a 2, but everybody drops. It's 4 down. Last tick getting worked on Atsoka. This could be it.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way, as already you can see you have players pushing up towards the spawn just to buy that extra amount of time, and it will pay off, as there you have it. The New York subliners are able to take the 3-0 sweep in the semis and punch their ticket to grands.
It was easy as could be for NYSL Junior, something you would expect for the players of this caliber, but to this extent, I would never have kind of expected myself, but 20-4 from Swag Checked. I hope that is not a real stat and this is bugged, but 23 non-traded kills. Yeah, that seems like it is not a real stat. 41 800 damage is, and that is kind of absurd when you're looking at an AR on a map like this, just dominating the presence on the map, just continuing to bleed out these players as they're rushing towards the zones, whether it's the offense or the defense. When you're putting damage like that down, you have to expect that everybody on the hill, they got softened up kills just waiting for them around the corners. So that's a good look for NYSL Junior. Definitely the team to beat as they head into the grand finals, awaiting the victors of our second semifinals that, if I'm not mistaken, should be Sense versus Jabrinki happening at this very moment.
Yeah, that should be the one that is going down currently, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get the tail end of that match. We're going to be taking a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to be able to see the grand final, so we will be able to let you know who does take that semifinal matchup in order to face New York Subliners in the Grands, who are currently the favorite. Again, they had a reputation coming into this, and their reputation had preceded them. They definitely live up to the legend, but with that being said, we are going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with the grand finals of the VESL Call of Duty one-off tournament, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Well, hello and welcome back once again to the Call of Duty one-off tournament here at VESL. And once again, we are back with the grand finals. I am Captain Ahsoka, joined by Seymour. Seymour, why don't you give us a little bit of a breakdown of where we're going and how we got there?
Well, we're going to the grand finals. How we got there, we watched the quarterfinals, then we watched the semifinals, and now we're heading in towards the grand finals. Now, that's way too oversimplified, Ahsoka. I can break things down with what we saw earlier on. We saw Newburn versus Jabrinki. Jabrinki, I mean, at first I was a little bit skeptical on what they brought in towards the hard point, and then they turned things around in the search and destroy as well as the control. They looked fantastic heading in towards their semifinal versus Sense, who got a free pass as a SEAL Team 6 did DQ their quarterfinal match. But inside of that semifinal, Sense, they took care of business. It was a 3-0 off stream. We didn't get to see, what Sense was fully capable of, but for them to shut down Jabrinki the way that they did score-wise has me really excited for what we're heading into for the grand final, because that's NYSL Junior sitting across from them in their side. And what we saw from NYSL Junior was probably something that not a lot of people desire to go up against. So heading in towards this grand final, I think that if there's anybody to go up against NYSL Junior, should be the Sense team. But can Sense come out and win things? That's a different story. I definitely have to choose them as the underdogs heading into this, but I'm very excited to see what they can bring.
Oh, absolutely. As we get ready to head into our first matchup here in the grand finals, which is going to be a best of 5. We're going to start things off here on hardpoint already. You got VESL trying to make their way onto site. They're able to throw just a little bit of a util dump, and it will be contested off the rip. VESL is going to be traded out here to start things off.
Yeah, VESL not really able to do any dent into this setup. It's a team kill from NYSL Junior, and that's really all we get to see in favor of Sense. They're sent back to the respawn. Neo still denying presence onto the staircase and escalators, doing the best of both jobs right now as Neo starts off this hardpoint 3-0, looking to extend this kill streak to anything more. You have a member of Sense looking to hit the full rotate all the way through P2, looking to flip these spawns, but he's shut down by player number 3, Fashion. And that's NYSL Junior going to be able to get the majority of P1 as well as the setup for P2.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you right now, Neo is doing more damage on those escalators than Final Destination 4 did to all of our memories. But with that being said, right now, VESL, again, you can see trying to at least make plays happen, but they are just getting gunned out there in the mid. Meanwhile, I mean, the points are just racking up so far for the side of the New York Subliners as Bull bow to Alpha King, trying to find their way onto site, but it looks like they might be the ones bowing because, again, that lead is just continuing to build.
Do you think they're the Alpha King, or are they the one bowing to the Alpha King? Would you say that Swag Checked may be the Alpha King right now from the way that he's been playing this today, or?
I'll be honest, there's not a single person on this planet I would call the Alpha King.
Really? Not one person?
No.
I respect that. I respect that.
I mean, I'll be honest. You know what? Well, let's not even go there. Regardless, I don't think the Alpha Kings exist. As a matter of fact, if they did exist, I think that species has long been extinct. Regardless,
I think we're opening a can of worms.
Yeah. Regardless, we are moving on, and right now, Swag Check once again doing what they do best, getting frags, watching the escalator. Finally, they will be eliminated. As now VESL, who has really been finding a lot of these these crossfires and are managing to get some eliminations onto the board, but this isn't team deathmatch. The eliminations aren't going to get you the win.
No, they're definitely not. It's the score that's going to get you the win, and so far, NYSL Junior finding the kills, finding the objective time as well. You have Escape Season finally going to get a break into this one. A couple kills on the flank. Don't pull the spawns, though, so NYSL Junior going to be able to re-hit this right away, and Sense not able to battle the second wave of pressure. Chicone spawns all the way out in Timbuktu, so there are fights going on all over the place that just Sense aren't able to lock down. A little bit of time in towards P3 Hill, but still an 80-point lead for NYSL Junior.
Yep, now you can see Chicone forcing their way onto site. Is going to be able to contest it for these final few ticks. And there it goes. Hardpoint is going to be switching off now. And you can see Neo from up on car able to deal a little bit of damage just to make them a little bit squishier. And it's going to pay off as they get an assist. And now, once again, the New York Subliners are able to take the capture point. And it's going to be all about retake here for Sense.
Yeah, the retake. Hasn't been good so far from Sense. They had one moment over towards P3, but for P4, they're completely shut out. One member left over towards boxes. Swag Check's gonna wait. Neo does end up going down, but the trade immediately happens. 30 seconds. I'm sure Sense want to fight for this hill, but gonna have to take a different avenue to reach their destination because NYSL Junior, they have everything on lock. Neo, lovely shots there, not able to make it a double kill. Wasted World gonna take one last shot for the last 15 seconds, but can't get anywhere close to that hard point. So over towards P5 we go. 150 to 27. A blowout so far for NYSL Junior. Sense need this time. Need it desperately.
You can see the hard point now giving a couple of points here over towards the side of Sense. And, you know, sometimes that's all it takes is that you have to find just a foot in, a foot holding in order to start to make a comeback. And granted, they have a long way to go. I mean, we're talking over 100 points, but, you know, I'm just glad to see them actually getting points on the board and, you know, making some decent plays. Unfortunately now the retake has gone in the favor of New York Subliners, and they're getting ready to GG and play next.
Yeah, GG. Look to the search and destroy. Bow to Alpha King. One shot here. Over to P5. Nice double kill. Gonna get you in, but can you stay alive? You cannot. Neo on 3 in a row. Streak in the back pocket. Streak for Fashion. Streak for Swag Check. Streak for pretty much everybody on this NYSL Junior team. Heading into the second set of rotations. I mean, you couldn't be in a worse spot if you were Sense.
Oh my goodness. I mean, again, we are trying to describe this as best as we can, but I mean, there's really no other way to describe it. I mean, the New York Subliners are just simply on another level. You know, they're in a league of their own here. I mean, not only were they able to, you know, pretty much take every single match up until this point, but this is the Grands, and even still, it looks like nothing has changed. It looks as though that the New York Subliners are just ready to go up into that next level. And again, this is why that all of these players here are potential #1 draft picks, including Frag Checked, of course. You know, they are the #1 draft pick, but you know, you got to give it up to this entire team. You can imagine that, you know, college scouts, pro scouts, they're looking at every single player on this New York Subliner squad.
Only 20 seconds left, Soka, for this Rio. Sense you can lose this on this hard point, and Escape Season not going to be able to get eyes on there. 21-3 out of Fashion, 8 in a row, not able to get #9. Waste is going to be able to shut down that spree, but the next one is knocking. Last chance for Sense to hold on to this map. Neo, Ciccone, they say no. Round them up. Let's go to map 2. NYSL Junior, they are ready to run through this tournament.
And that they are, as we get ready to head to map number 2, which is going to be Karachi. And if I'm not mistaken, that should be some more search and destroy. And you know what, we were wondering, you know, maybe, you know, slowing down the pace of play will throw off New York Subliners. No, that wasn't the case in the previous matchup in the semifinals. It did not slow them down at all, and I don't think it's going to. But this is something that I would like to point out. We're seeing non-traded kills for Swag Check, which is 20. But you also got to point out that Fashion managed to get 20 of their own, which is what I've been trying to say, is that a lot of these players are on even footing with Swag Checked. So again, there's a lot of talent on this team that just can't be dialed into just one specific player. I feel like everybody here is good at what they do, and clearly that they were good enough to be a part of this squad just as much as Frag Check was.
Yeah, and we knew that Swag Check heading into this tournament was the player to watch, but it's kind of what I've been saying to this NYSL Junior team, is that they've taken a team that was already good and they've made it better by adding Neo and Fashion. I mean, you look back to as the game started back on Rio, Neo holding down both escalators as well as zig steps with that Rival 9, almost effortlessly winning those fights, alongside Fashion going on sprees as well. 21-3 towards the end of that. We got to see them going 8 in a row into that second set of rotations. It just seems like this is a team that was set up to win. Inside, whether it's the VESL League, whether it's any U18 league that we're going to be seeing for Call of Duty, this is the team of just 4 absolute slayers that know how to win.
I was about to say, what gave it away? Was it the CDL name attached to the team? Like, they were set up to win? I mean, you're 100% correct. And, you know, again, you could see, like, this is a team that was clearly, you know, handpicked. You know, every single player is there for a reason. They're playing phenomenally, and I think they're going to continue to do so. And, you know, I was really interested, you know, because, again, you know, going into Search and Destroy, that is a completely different game mode than all the others. I mean, Hardpoint and Control, those two game modes are kind of, you know, you could see the similarities between the two. Yes, you do have a limit on your lives, but again, you're playing objective, you're playing respawn, you're playing sightlines, and you know, you can kind of see the similarities there. But S&D is a completely different game mode. I mean, you're literally changing the pace of play, and that really does complicate things for a lot of teams. But not for this team, at least not at this level. You know, they are not tripping up. It's like they're making all the correct inputs. I have yet to see one mishap. Like, normally I'm just out here, you know, I'll be the villain. I'll assume the villain role and I'll critique something for sure. But New York Subliners, they have, I can't point anything out that they have done wrong so far.
I mean, these are a bunch of players who are extremely younger than what I am, Soka, and they would smoke me. I would probably get 250-0 against this team without a doubt, the way that they are playing. And I think that's impressive to see so much talent in such a young generation of Call of Duty that just can keep on getting better and better and better until one day you hope to see players like this reach the top. And I was kind of talking about earlier on the pipeline, whether from high school into college or university, and then, you know, potentially the, you know, challengers or into Call of Duty League. It's just to see so much skill so early. It has to wonder, you know, is like this can't be the ceiling of these players. They still have time to get better and grow and develop. And that is, I think, the scariest thing of all when you look at them play.
I mean, not to mention, we're in the summertime now. You know, school is out. This is the season. 'Tis the season. It is the summertime. And again, this is even referenced back to back. You know, when I was a Call of Duty player in my days, you know, the seasons for gaming were literally summer, and then of course winter break. That is like gaming season. And then also it's catered that way because all of the big releases, including Call of Duty, come out fall and winter time, fall and winter season. So again, that is literally gaming season. So these players are going to have all summer long to just grind out and get better, and they're only going to get better. So again, I mean, there's just so much potential for these players because they are still so young. As we get things started off here, and already you can see the trades are going into the way of the New York Subliners.
Yeah, they took us to 6-star back in our semifinal. It was a 6-0 victory over the well-known. Already into a 3-on-1. Nice trades from the team. It's a good offensive round to open things up on Karachi. Just as a, I guess, a kind of touch on the grand final in general, because we haven't really said winner of the grand final gets $7,500. Second place at $3,000. It's a big upgrade from second to first. And, you know, third place, there will be a third place game being played, pretty sure off stream as well, between would have been the well-known as well as Jabrinki. That's going to be going on, and they're playing for a total of $1,500. So a lot of cash on the line right now for NYSL Junior and Sense. So Sense heading into this map too. Got to see what they can develop and turn around with this offense now. Losing out on that first round, you can see Bomb heading over towards A very default setup with a player trying to watch the flank. First blood though to NYSL Junior. Chance for a second. VESL just barely staying alive.
And you know, again, I like, you know what? I'm gonna wait until, you know, we wait until the end of the round, because I want to harp back onto the prizing. But you know what? You're right. You know, we're trying to see this push here. And look, VESL got a read on somebody behind register. They knew they got spotted out. They knew their head was poking out, so they had to back off. That was dangerous. VESL almost got the read on somebody's dome piece. But we do see one player jump in, and they're just gonna jump right back out. How do you allow that? You gotta punish.
Yeah,
that one got away. Bow to Alpha King. I'm sorry, that one you should have had.
Yeah, Neo needs to go down there if you are Sense, trying to find that opening over towards the site. Now it's back to Alpha King all alone in a 1v2. And that was just a missed opportunity for sure. I mean, you get those early shots there. VESL has to finish that kill. There's no chance that you can allow Neo to get away with their life, because you saw the way that NYSL Junior were set up. You had two players ready to flank that immediately swag checked. As soon as that kill doesn't work out for you, is already top red, winning that fight over towards the single window. And it's just dominoes falling at that point. You just kind of snowball out of control. That is an unfortunate situation for Sense, who really needed that round.
But yeah, just in now here in the early round, going into round number 3, I just want to go back to the prizing for a second, because I mean you're doubling your money with every placement you get. Third place is 15, second is 3,000. You're doubling your money, and then first is 7,500. That's more than double. I mean that's nearly triple the amount. But with that being said, even if you're coming in third, even if you're getting that 1,500, that's $1,500 you made playing Call of Duty, where the majority of us are paying to play Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big difference. For sure, these players opening blood there for escape season, traded out Neo, barely getting away with their life, 79 health. Bomb planted at B. This is going to be a tough one to retake if you're Sense now at a deficit, because you're going to have to take control of top third, get those ARs set up, but pretty sure VESL, as long as their counterpart, both members with Rival 9, Spout Alpha King going to be spotted, and it's all down to VESL with 25 seconds. Going to have to make their way around for this flank, get 3 kills, and defuse the bomb, with which Ahsoka, I mean, I'm not a betting guy. I don't think I would be able to bet on this, but if I could, I would not bet on a chance to win here.
Well, who knows? Well, I guess everybody from the New York Subliners knew, because every single one of them. You know what was the best part about that? Is like you literally saw bullets coming from three different directions. Watch them just rain in on this poor person going for the defense. The bomb just got absolutely lit up. I saw 3 directions of fire, and thanks to the final kill cam, I was able to see there was in fact 4. There were 4 different lines of fire just raining in on that poor defuser there from Sense. But I mean, my goodness, they literally had every angle covered on the side of New York Subliners.
That's 3 unanswered rounds. Swag checked has a cruise missile already. It's the same story that we're talking about back on 6-star, where Swag checked, I think, went 11-0 throughout that map number 2. Now to top third, such a strong position to have. Just if you want to collapse anywhere on the map, there's a player in top stairs over towards top third. There's a player bottom red, and Swag Check is already in, finding that kill, takes out Battle Alpha King, a trade onto Neo, but 3-on-3, nowhere to go. Swag Check does end up falling. A win onto Fashion would completely open up the map, and this is their chance. Only one left standing is Ciccone in a 1v3.
And Ciccone able to find that elimination there, staying alive, looking to find another one. They get tatted up just a little bit too much. Ciccone has to back off before they get eliminated. Keep in mind, this is a 1v2 for Ciccone, as they manage to find the equalizer. Now we got ourselves a good old-fashioned 1v1, and Ciccone, OBJ, come in clutch.
I mean, she is at the top right now of this round. 1v3 from Ciccone. Silencing the doubters, silencing the haters, and putting in the work for NYSL Junior. We just kept on talking about how Ciccone's the OBJ player. You know, Fashion, Neo, and Swag Checked are the ones slaying out. She says, don't worry, I could do it too. I just don't have to when I have the rest of my teammates slaying out. I can take a backseat role, no problem. When you need her to show up, she does.
And that's the point I was making. They're still playing OBJ, and that's exactly what they were doing. They were playing Site A, and they played it phenomenally. And you can always count on them to get the job done. It's not always about getting the frag. You got to remember, at the end of the day, unless you're playing Team Deathmatch, not all the frags are going to give you the dub.
Not at all. Well, at the end of the day, you want to boil things down to simplicity and search and destroy. If you find all the kills, the round is over. So Sense, maybe all the kills can find you no dub.
They can, but at the end of the day, you got to look where those final eliminations took place. They took place around Site A, and that's where the majority of these eliminations take place, is around the sites, around the objective.
Wasted World looking to do the same here. 1v2. Information onto the bomb carrier. Finds that kill. Both line up, but the turnaround for Swag Checked immediately. Wasted World not aware of how close Swag Checked was. Pretty sure only seeing that first member Swag Checked on a dime hits that pivot. 5 in a row.
My goodness. I mean, again, swag checked, just being able to just hit scan their opponents, just doing a phenomenal job. But with that being said, you know, it is an entire team effort. And also I got to give it up to Sense as well, because they have been fighting back. You can tell that they have been improving literally in this series. You know, they have come back a little better each time. Now, granted, it's still quite the big difference. I mean, you're looking at 5-0 in Search and Destroy, but, you know, you can notice some improvements being made, you know, throughout the entire series. So again, hats off to Sense, you know, for putting their best foot forward.
Everybody's got to take cover. Cruise missile invested from Swag Check finds nothing, but it's going to keep everybody indoors and keep them at bay. Well, NYSL Junior looking to push the issue. Fashion into your spawn now, looking for 2 nice trades from Wasted World, giving numbers towards the Sense team. Looking to rush over towards this B zone. Swag checked in behind. Again, flipping the map. 2 versus 2. Ciccone at A. Swag checked at B. Nice 50-50 split here for NYSL Junior.
Man, look at Ciccone on the move, is going to get flanked, but I got to tell you, they nearly were able to turn that one around. As you can see, another elimination does go back the way in the favor of Swag checked.
I mean, just there's no trade there. Swag check gets away. He's already top church. Another cruise missile to put away the map. Again, 22 seconds. You have to take cover upstairs. You're hoping you don't die to the streak, and you won't. With only 16 seconds, there's only one place to go. Swag check knows that, and he wants the win.
Question, does the term Predator missile still fly? Like, if someone said Predator missile, would you know that that was a cruise missile? Like, is that still recognizable? Because that's what we called it. You know,
at
what
least
I mean?
to me it would be. I mean, I'm 25. I know what a Predator missile is, but for, you know, maybe some of these players in U18 COD, they might not know.
Regardless, I mean, look at this. Look at Swag Check on Search and Destroy. 15-9 traded kills, if this is correct. But
it should have been, yeah.
I mean, my goodness, this is S&D. You're not supposed to do that. Like, that is a stat that's not supposed to happen.
No, it's not. But when you kind of have a player like Swagcheck, I mean, you just got to talk about some of the, you know, the knowledge and a lot of the plays that you see from him. I mean, he starts that round with calling in a cruise missile. It keeps everybody indoors while you see the rest of the team flying to kind of catch these members in those positions. Cruise missile doesn't have to find anything. It gets the information. He then pushes all the way deep over towards Market, gets that last kill to kind of set up another spree, swings over, trades out onto Ciccone, heads into Church, uses a second cruise missile just to burn that clock even further, kind of dedicates that player to either make that quick decision. Do I play for the kill? Do I play for the plant? And Swagcheck knows there's only one place for that player to go. I mean, it's just a very knowledgeable play when it comes down to what you have in your arsenal when it comes to the streaks, the spacing, and the time all in one. Swag Check used all of that in that round 6.
Yeah, and then, you know, now they're on the cusp of being your grand champions. I mean, they're going into series point, match point, grand finals point. They only need one more dub in order to come away with the win and to come away with that $7,000 prize. My goodness, they have got to be feeling good. We are going to be going to my favorite, everyone's favorite. You guessed it. We're going to Highrise. Where else would we go for a map 3?
Maybe an Invasion, maybe a Karachi, but I'm happy to see a Highrise.
No, Highrise all the time.
Okay.
Every map is now Highrise.
No more exploding barrels. I'm on board. Swag Check top heli already looking to put some pressure on towards the offense. It's 2 down. Wasted World not going to be ready for Ciccone around the corner. It's a quick 3 for NYSL Junior. They're going to hop the A zone, stack it. First segment getting worked on. Escape season. Can you stop this? You will. So it's only the presence over towards B you have to worry about, but no kills to stop this one. And that first segment already locked in.
And you know what, we were talking about, you know, the fun fact that, you know, my first ever nuke was on this map. But you know what's even an even funner fact is the first weapon that I used to get the nuke here on this map was actually an M16.
Really?
Yeah. Got my first ever nuke on Highrise with the M16.
You know what? I don't think I got a nuke till Black Ops 3, so.
Oh, you're whack.
I also never really tried to get one. You know, give myself some slack there, but for NYSL Junior, there's a good chance that they might be able to do one. in one of these matches, the way that they're slaying out. 24 and 15. Swag checks on towards A alongside Ciccone. That should be cleaned up, and it will be. So the first round offense, again, with the blink of an eye, it is gone. NYSL Junior just dictating so much rhythm to this game.
Yeah, and once again, I didn't even get a chance to look at the clock. You know, my goodness. I mean, look at this with the Renetti swag check. I mean, my goodness. It really doesn't matter what weapon they have in their hands. I mean, I just feel like it's just going to be an elimination to anyone who's on the other end of that barrel. Well, here we are getting ready to head into the second round of Control, and now we get to see a little bit of defense coming out from the side of New York Subliners. As you can see, Sense now going to try and play a little bit of offense, going to be going over towards Gas Tank, and they do get spotted out, not eliminated just yet. VESL has to take a little bit of cover here, throws out the Simtex, not going to be able to get the elim.
No, but trades back and forth for Sense, and they're going to be able to battle out of their spawn. It's 3 down for NYSL Junior, and I'd like to see them just stack a point, set up. You need that height as well. Looking for one of these players off spawn to hopefully get towards the top of the helipad, but nobody's able to get there in time. Another 3 go down, this time in favor of NYSL Junior. They're able to break out of their spawn and clear out that A zone, neutralize that first segment as well. So back into the setup for the potential spawn trap. Escape needs to find this kills. Neo's going to cut him down, and this is the danger zone. It is just a sea of blue in the feed. Everything for NYSL.
Yeah, not to mention you got swag check there and Helly, and they're going to be looking at the spawn trap, and that's what they're going to be trying to set up. But hold the phone! It looks like we lost connection. That's no bueno. That is a big no-no.
It's not. So I'm sure we're going to hear from production right now whether or not that's us who lost connection or everybody who lost connection in the server. Because if it's us, that's bad because the game's playing and we're not watching it. But if it's everybody, we're probably going to restart things into what I would say would be a 1-0 lead for NYSL Junior after that first round went their way. So yeah, we just got a notification from our production that we are working on it. We're trying to figure out what just happened. But let's talk a little bit about what we saw, because obviously NYSL Junior, again, I mean, we just keep on talking about how good they are and how well they are at slaying out. I'm seeing a lot of things that, you know, if Sets kind of look back at this game, Ahsoka, there are fixable moments from them as well. Off spawn, heading over towards A, if they kind of took a little bit of a lapse in that push over towards A, waited for the players off spawn to get to that high ground in helipad, if they play their natural cover a little bit better and just don't give up their lives so early on that point, it'll give them a little bit of help when they're trying to get those segments locked in over towards A. You just need to play that team game and stop feeding lives over towards the players off spawn, challenging out those fights against tough head glitches that, you know, are provided from the defensive side in their own spawn windows. So you can see in moments where they're just kind of biting off a little bit too much than they can chew, and their timings are separated from each other. You're looking back at this, there's so many fixable moments for Sense. They have the shots, they have the gunny, and I've seen it so far. They've been able to put good fights up towards this NYSL Junior team. It's just when it comes to the micro of their play, or I guess the macro of playing the objective in a game like Control, you can see they're going one step too far and it's all blowing up in front of them.
Yeah, and right now it does seem as though that we are hearing word that it, in fact, was the entire lobby that crashed. So it wasn't just us. You know, that was just Call of Duty being Call of Duty, so it's not our fault. Regardless, we are working on getting the other team in here. We are trying to make sure that we get back into the match, and of course, we're going to set things right. Should be a 1-0 in the favor of the New York Subliners, and you know, like you were saying, Sense definitely can make some improvements, and you know, that's the benefit of hindsight. You're able to go back, watch the VOD, make corrections, and not only that, but that is like some better information than most because you just got some more experience against, you know, the New York Subliners, a championship team. So again, you're going to be able to go back and look at your own, you know, gameplay against a top tier team, and every other team you play after that is just going to feel like you know, just not up to par. I guarantee, like, the next team that we see Sense play, they're just going to get steamrolled. And as a matter of fact, the last team that Sense played did get steamrolled. They got swept in the semis. So that's not to say that Sense is not a good team. They are a great team. You just got to keep in mind who they're going up against.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better way to learn than losing. So for Sense, I mean, so far just kind of getting beaten and bruised by this NYSL team. You're hoping to see if they can can turn things around heading into the reset in this map number 3. But we're going to cut to a quick little break, let these teams kind of get lobbied up, give us a little bit of break for our voices, because we got to close things out very shortly for the grand finals. And for Sense, it's going to have to be a heroic reverse sweep through this control and beyond. So we'll see you on the other side with some more Call of Duty, folks.
Well, hello and welcome back to the grand finals for the Call of Duty One-Off Tournament presented by VESL. As always, I am Captain at Soka with the caster with the most and a little bit more. It is Seymour Cast. And Seymour, we had a little bit of a break, but we're getting ready to head back into our grand finals.
Yeah, no, and for Sense, you know, it hasn't been the worst showing, I would say, for what the scoreboard shows. I mean, two very dominant maps for NYSL Junior, I will say, but within those maps, I mean, there are some moments where you see, you know, the Sense that has, you know, garnered them a 3-0 in the semifinals or a chance at this first place prize pool. And into the control, I think there are some stepping stones that you can take to make this more competitive into the map, potentially take some rounds away from this NYSL Junior team. And it's going to kind of start with that team coordination that I was kind of hinting on, you know, before we cut to a little bit of a break there and heading back to your attack, I'm sure, for this second round, being down 1-0 to NYSL Junior. You look to these teams to be more patient. When you get that 3 down, don't jump the gun. You don't want to just jump that point right away. You got to make sure that you're setting up in the right places, not giving your lives up for free off of those players coming off the respawn, and make sure that somebody's top heli watching over you, having that power position, poking away at those players that are pushing towards that zone, making it a little easier for the players on point to stay on point.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I mean, I don't want to say that, you know, the interruption was a good thing, but, you know, we saw where things were leading, you know.
Gives you a second chance for sure.
That's what I'm saying. You know, we were starting to see the makings of a spawn trap. So, you know, that little technical interference, honestly, probably was in the favor of sense, I would have to say, because things were looking a little dangerous.
Yeah, so chance number 2. Seems like they're doing a full replay as we see NYSL Junior are on the point. It's either that or they gave that second round. I'm going to have to wait for production to let me know if it's a full replay or not. But nonetheless, NYSL Junior already working this B zone. Swag check with another double kill. It's a double stack on B. They're cutting off the players from the respawn. And this is going to be another 2 minutes and 20 seconds for NYSL to win this offensive round.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, the first time out, again, I don't know if they're going to be able to get that free win, you know, considering that they were up 1-0. I don't know if it's just going to be a free restart. Again, we'll have to wait to hear the ruling on it. But again, it looks like we're just seeing a pretty much copy and paste of what we had already seen in the first bout, where it's just, you know, the New York subliners just going in and just setting, you know, what seems to be a land speed record for taking controls here.
We're going to have to see this one. Swag checks in your spawn. Neo working through the middle of the map. It's 3 down again. Only person really to stop this is number 7. That's Wasted World, and Chiconi's going to find that kill. So everybody off spawn for sense, rushing to the rescue, hoping to put some kills behind it as well. Swag check's going to get some eyes on through the middle. Has that strake just in case you need it. Contestion is out. A flank getting worked on as well. But look at this knowledge. The turnaround from Swag. Waiting for them to pour out. He gets 2. And this looks like it's going to be the round in the bag. Chiconi shuts the player down through mid. Swag checked is beaming kids off the heady. And that is a quick offensive round for NYSL Junior yet again.
That last elimination there was disgusting. Like, look at this. Look, right here. They're coming across the cubicles, right? And then look, just every shot to the dome. My goodness, the shot placement, the accuracy, just absolutely insane.
It just has to be the best player in this league. When it comes down to knowledge of the game, practice of the game, the shot, the will to just continue and be at the best that you can be at. Swag check has it all.
Yeah, they got it all and then some. As you know, we're pretty much back where we started, so we might as well just go for the full restart. You know, here we are.
I feel like it is a full
there.
reset.
Yeah, it's full reset now. As you can see, it's going to be escape season, being able to come out with a pretty clutch a limb, as they're going to be able to at least get the first tick, it appears, off of the A site, and I think they are able to secure that first tick. There it goes.
This is what I'm talking about. That first tick gets in, but there's no reason to chow that player into the mid windows. You know that Swag checked has the shots to win that fight. You had to show some respect, drop those trophies, bunker on the hill, and force NYSL Junior to yield, because, I mean, the kills keep on coming from Wasted World, but nobody's there to really back them up. They're still struggling to get towards top heli, and Neo waiting for somebody to make that mistake, touch the hill, so he can find those kills from behind.
Yep, and they get the audio cue. They hear the gun spray coming down from low, and my goodness, being able to switch really quick to the secondary. Again, they tell you that in the tutorial. You know, as soon as you boot up Call of Duty, they tell you switch to your secondary. It's faster than reloading. Neo showing us all why.
Well, here we go. NYSL back into the driver's seat when it comes to this defense, dictating everything. When it comes down to map control, Neo's on 5 in a row. One last chance for escape season to hold on to B. Not able to play their life. Traded out. Everybody off the respawn. 4 seconds. That's not enough time to touch one of these zones. So NYSL Junior off the reset. Go back to round number 1. But it is still them going back to back in rounds, winning the offense quickly. And the defense with style. Neo here, final kill with the Renetti. 10-3, might I add, at Soko.
Yeah, they weren't ready for the Renetti. I mean, again, we got to see them earlier as well. You know, we were making the point that, you know, switching to your sidearm is faster than reloading, but when you have the Renetti, it's almost like being on your main, right? Like, we've already seen so many eliminations being led in with the Renetti. I mean, this is an absolutely insane sidearm. There's a reason that it's part of the meta.
Yeah, I argue sometimes that I think the Renetti, in scenarios where it's those close engagements, is better than the rival and the MCW. It is a pocket SMG. So, definitely faster to switch that sidearm and use that Renetti by all means. So VESL slides out. Ciccone read like a book. VESL's going to be able to clear up that A zone, and B as well. Not so safe as you might think if you're an NYSL Junior player. It's only one last player, Fashion, looking to hold things down in base camp, but Fashion goes down. Ciccone's going to be caught pushing in towards blue. Minute 11 on the clock, and NYSL Junior, finally, you see some pacing stopped from them.
Yeah, they are slowing things down a little bit there. As you can see, they only have one tick onto the B site, just over a minute left to go. But now here comes Fashion from the outside, and it looks like they are going to take full control of the B site. This should be good for 2 ticks, and now they're starting to push Sense back towards their spawn. Neo gets caught out, pushed just a little bit too far forward, but the effort is not in vain, as they did secure that second tick onto B, and they're on their way to getting the third.
Yeah, B zone should be cleaned up. 2 minutes to work A. Streak again used. VESL gonna neutralize that first tick over towards A. Fashion is caught in the flank, but, you know, it's like a Hydro. When you cut one off it, there is still a second head that you have to worry about. Swag checked, and Ciccone looking to work a flank onto this one. The pinch is out, but still the kills for Sense. Swag checked, able to put together 2, but off the respawn, Sense should be able to hit this one right away.
Yeah, you know, that's really when you have to, you know, start questioning. Do you really just want to keep, you know, hard sticking defense onto site, or do you want to start playing a little off site and playing lane, playing angles? Because it seems as though whenever you try to hard stick defense onto site, you know, New York Subliners, they just know exactly where you are. And now you can see the New York Subliners starting to push all the way into the spawn of Sense. And they're just buying so much time. As you can see, the second tick nearly now gone for the side of the New York Subliners here on A.
Yeah. Only one more segment needed. Escape. Sitting in towards bottom blue. 5 lives less for Sense. Escape holding on for dear life. No more respawns for Sense, and this could be the end of your run here in the VESL one-off tournament. Ciccone's going to take down Bound to Alpha King. It's going to be 2 lives now. Fashion brings it down to 1 member holding this game in. Escape season. Can you win it against the world? Against the New York Subliners Junior team. Escape doing his best to win this game. And they want to just get the assassination. What are we doing?
Well, they're going for the melees. I mean, this is just cheeky play right here. They're trying to end it on the melee, on the assassination. I mean, they got some spare lives to do it. I mean, go for it if you can, but nope, there it is. They're just going to get mollywopped to death, and that is going to be the game, set, match, tournament, all in favor of the New York Subliners Junior squad, who will be your VESL Call of Duty Runoff Tournament Grand Champions.
3-0 sweeps across the board. A team that just looks like they can take down Titans. And the way that they play, Fashion, Neo, additions to Swag Checked and Ciccone when it comes down to seeing them in VESL tournaments. And honestly, it's just the right pieces of the puzzle to add to an already stacked roster. Congratulations to this NYSL Junior team on another victory here within VESL. After winning states, you know that this is a team that's going to be tough to play up against, but the fact that they got better, and now throughout this one-off tournament, you're playing up against new opponents, you're playing up against other players, and you do it again. You know, one time, you know, definitely it's a statement to be made, but to do it twice in a row in that same similar fashion, that is just solidifying that they are the best of the best here in VESL.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, they came in and they made that statement just from round 1. They made in the statement that they were going to be the team to beat, that they are the top contenders, and they are going to be walking away with that $7,000 prize for the first place spot. But can we give it up to Sense as well? Sense put on quite the run. They were going pretty flawless for the most part. Going into the semis, they managed to come out off of a 3-0 sweep. They made it to grands, and they're still going to be taking home $3,000. And of course, our third place team that is still being decided off stage, they're going to be taking home that $1,500. So again, a lot of change and a lot of monies going to these players for today. So no matter which way you play, you know, at the end of the day, you got to realize that you're going up against some of the best talent in high school Call of Duty esports. So you really can't hang your head low at any of the outcomes. But with that being said, that is going to wrap things up for our tournament here at VESL for the Runoff Call of Duty tournament. Once again, your grand champions were the New York Subliners Junior squad, and your second runner-up was Sense, both of which are going to be walking away with a nice chunk of change. $7,000 for New York Subliners, $3,000 for Sense. And as for myself, it has been an absolute pleasure being able to share the desk with you, Seymour Cast, the caster with the most here in COD. Any final remarks before we sign off?
No, I think for Sense coming out of a loss like that, there's a lot to learn versus this NYSL Junior team. I mean, you can look down at this video and you can take a lot away from the way that they play it. I mean, yeah, you look at the way that they're challenging a lot of these fights, and it's definitely, you know, confident challenges for sure. But you know that, you know, looking back to this, there are ways that you could change. A lot of team chemistry can go a long way for the Sense team. And once they get that all ironed out, I'm sure they could take some rounds away from this NYSL Junior team. They're right there. They're right at the edge. And I just want to see them keep working at it. Like you said, don't be discouraged at a loss like this. Use it for a chance to propel yourself to new heights.
Absolutely. Well, before we sign off, I just want to give one quick shout out to all of the players involved, all the parents at home that are supporting our young esports athletes, and of course to all the viewers at home, thank you for watching, as well as our wonderful producer, Pizza Time, the one who is pushing all the buttons. But keep in mind, all of the players here today that are walking away with a chunk of change were also pushing a lot of buttons. So again, production, they are the real heroes behind the scene making all the magic happen. But without further ado, that is going to wrap things up. Once again, I've been Captain Etsoka, joined by Seymour Cast, and thank you all for tuning in to VESL for our Call of Duty one-off tournament. You had best believe VESL will have more very, very soon, and we will see you then.